various sports, and with the aid of a specially designed glove, is capable of participating in his favorite sport, baseball. Shane is from Brownwood, Texas, and is a true Texas hero for battling and overcoming his obstacle to enjoy a full and abundant life. Ladies and gentlemen, escorting Shane to the mound is the First Lady of the United States, Mrs. Barbara Bush. And now, ladies and gentlemen, with an extra special ceremonial first pitch, former first baseman and captain of the Yale University baseball team, a real Texas hero, the President of the United States.
Well, he didn't want to bounce it, but he got it up there. Pretty impressive ceremonies here in Arlington. Of course, it is the president's son who is one of the owners here in Texas. And Joe Morgan had a chance to talk with the two George Bushes prior to tonight's game. In fact, just moments ago, this was done in Bobby Valentine's office.
Mr. President, a lot of people think that your only interest in Major League Baseball is because your son owns a Major League team. I know different. We used to go to the Houston Astro games some 20 years ago.
Hey, listen,
when did
Joe,
your interest start in Major League Baseball?
It started even before my watching you when you started playing ball. I'll tell you when it started, going with my dad to Yankee Stadium and the Polo Grounds back in the 30s, in the early 30s. He'd take us in. We lived out in Connecticut, and we saw all those big guys then, Lou Gehrig, Ruth, and, you know, all the famous Yankees. And Giants were tough. But I didn't go to Ebbets Field much, but I saw those mostly at Polo Grounds and at Yankee Stadium.
Did you ever have any aspirations to be a Major League player?
Yeah, but I don't think anyone had any aspirations to have me as their Major League player. But I loved the game. I loved the game.
You know, speaking of him going to the games with his father, did he take you to Major League
games?
He
did, and a lot of times I see you play, Joe, from the Astros, but this is a special night for me to have my dad here. You know, things never change.
Right.
Some things never change, and going to a ball game with your dad is special. Mm-hmm. And so to share our team and our fans and with my dad is a really great moment for me.
You got a pretty good team, too.
I think so. We'll see.
Right. You know, I was thinking 6 weeks ago you had the weight of the world on your shoulders. You know, It must be great to have that off and to be able to attend a baseball game.
Well, it's nice to be able to do this, particularly on opening night. I mean, I think presidents historically have shown an interest in the national pastime, and, of course, I love it. I wish I could go just out into the bleachers and sit down there and watch. But it's wonderful being here at all. And, yes, it's a different feeling now, but there's still lots to do, both at home and abroad. But at least that pressure of the war, worrying about our young men and women over there, that's off. And it does make a difference, like a burden, a burden being lifted, you know.
How many games do you think you'll get to see this year?
I don't know. I'd like to see half a dozen anyway, but I'm not sure. Baltimore is easy for us from Washington. So I want to go to some National League parks. Phillies have asked me to go up there, and I might be able to check that. Mets in New York a fair amount. But I want to see some games. I've been out Dodgers a time or two. I can't remember if I've been there as president. I think I was. And with this job, you move around a lot, so you see them all, maybe.
How'd you get the nickname Poppy?
Well, my grandfather. I was named after him, and in those days they called their father Pop or Poppy. Some still do. And I was Little Pop for my uncles, my mother's brothers, who called their dad Pop. His namesake became that. I've tried to get over it, though, and have managed to do it pretty well.
Well, I want to thank you, Mr. President, and also you, George Jr., and enjoy the baseball game tonight.
Well, listen, good to see you, and I see him out there dancing around. I'll be thinking of you out there, too.
All right.
We'll see you.
Right, thank you. Thanks.
3 great baseball fans right there, and the guy in the middle happens to be in the Hall of Fame. And I'm delighted tonight to have Joe Morgan with me doing this baseball game on opening night here in Arlington, Texas. The only thing I want to know is how come it was the president catching the ball behind his back and not the Hall of Famer?
Well, he's a better catcher than I am, but I tell you what, I'm not going to warm up ever again. He bounced the ball after he promised me he was going to make a good throw to the plate.
That's why he was so mad. All right, opening day ceremonies are continuing here at Arlington Stadium as we get set to go on this opening day of Major League Baseball here on ESPN, our second season of coverage of the Major League Baseball America's Game with Mark Knudson starting for the Brewers and Nolan Ryan for the Rangers.
ESPN Major League Baseball is brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. By Honda Lawnmowers. Honda, nothing's easier. And by Ramada. Ramada, for the people who get it done.
Welcome back to our ESPN Major League Baseball studios. I'm John Saunders. We'll get out to Texas momentarily, where the aging veteran who looks as young as ever, Nolan Ryan, will start yet another season. This for the Texas Rangers as they take on the Milwaukee Brewers. But first, let's get you up to date on what's happened already today in Major League Baseball. We'll start in the American League with a scoreboard there. The Detroit Tigers, a 6-4 winner over the Yankees. Cecil Fielder driving in the game-winning runs, breaking the tie. Alan Trammell had 4 runs batted in the day. Boston over Toronto. Roger Clemens, 8 innings, 6 hits, 1 run, no walks, 6 strikeouts. Jack Clark with a grand slam, the 8th in his career, only the 2nd ever given up by Dave Steve. Chicago blows out Baltimore, as this was the last home opener at Memorial Stadium. They'll have a new park next year. Sammy Sosa had 2 home runs and 5 runs batted in. The 5 RBIs, that's a career high. Cleveland loses at Kansas City as Kirk Gibson had a triple in his first at bat as a member of the Royals. Ended up 2 for 4 with a triple and the RBI single. Albert Bell, changed his name from Joey, it's worked. 11 home runs in the preseason. He had a home run on the day for the Tribe. The New York Mets and the Philadelphia Phillies. The Mets win at 2-1. Vince Coleman, first game as a Met, coming over from St. Louis, 2 for 4. The Mets have won 15 of their last 17 openers, and Dwight Gooden got the victory in this one. Houston, a loser at Cincinnati, 6-2 was the final here. Tom Browning, the winner. He also had a double that drove in 3 runs with the bases loaded. He only had 4 runs batted in all of last year, 9 straight home openers for the Reds. And Montreal and Pittsburgh. Montreal now leads at 2-0. Ron Hassey has driven in a run, but defense has been the story. Dennis Martinez to Gary Reedus. Larry Walker chasing after this one towards the gap, leaps at the wall and comes up with the grab, and the Montreal Expos lead it now 2-0. Right now, let's go and see Nolan Ryan making his debut for the 1991 season. Arlington, Texas, let's rejoin Gary Thorne, Joe Morgan.
There he is out there on the mound. He's taking his first warm-up. Nolan Ryan getting set to go tonight here in Arlington against the Milwaukee Brewers. And here are the starters tonight in this opening day game. It'll be Paul Molitor for the Brewers, the DH, leading it off. They hope to keep the injuries down. Robin Yount in center field, batting second. Sheffield had a good spring. He'll be at third. Franklin Stubbs makes the start at first base. The new acquisition, Candy Maldonado, will be in left field. Another new acquisition, Dante Bichette, will make the start in right. B.J. Surhoff will be doing the catching tonight, one of the veterans. Another veteran follows him. Jim Gantner will be at second base. And batting ninth, the starting shortstop will be Bill Spires. And that's the man they'll face, Joe Morgan, Nolan Ryan.
Well, Nolan says he's had the best spring he's had in about since he's been here in Texas. No injuries. He feels like he'll be able to turn it loose tonight, so look for a lot of heat here in Arlington.
Nolan Ryan, you see the numbers last year. The strikeouts, 232. The all-time leader, 5,308. strikeouts in his career. He won the opening day last season in making the start for the Rangers. And his battery mate tonight will be Gino Petrali, as they will be platooning behind the plate this season, and Gino will be making the start against the right-hander Mark Knudson for Milwaukee, and we are ready to go. Paul Molitor will stand in. You see the numbers from last season. They've got him in the leadoff spot, and they've got him as a designated hitter. They hope that Molitor will be able to get in all kinds of baseball games this season, because they've got to have the veterans Molitor and Yount and Stubbs, who's joined them now, deliver some offense for them. Set to go. Nolan Ryan almost ready to go, but Jim Evans has to move him as the beach ball comes down on the field. So we are in midsummer form. The first pitch never gets off because the beach ball comes out.
Gary Pettis runs over and retrieves it.
It was over 90 degrees here today in Arlington, Texas. It is a magnificent summer-like night.
It's summer. 90 degrees. You sure that's all it was?
No, it was over 90.
Thank you.
We never got an official reading. The scoreboard at one time said 99, but I think it might have been a little high. Take two. And Ryan has it chopped to third. Tough play. Buechele has none, and it's an infield single. So the first pitch delivered by Nolan Ryan to Paul Molitor is a swinging bunt for an infield base hit.
That's one of the reasons why it's hard to imagine a guy pitching 6 no-hitters, because something like that can happen anytime during a ball game, a swinging bunt. And Molitor runs very well. He gets on top of this Nolan Ryan fastball, a little sinker actually, and he gets out of the box well. Infield hit.
So the Brewers pick up the first hit of the season off Ryan or anybody else, and it is Robin Yount. Yount making the start in center field. It's high and inside for a ball. Of note, Nolan Ryan can get in trouble in the first inning.
I think he gave up 25 runs in the first 30 innings, I think, last year. So he does have problems early, but once he settles down, doesn't give up very many.
He gets better as he goes along. They will hold at first base. Frank holding over there is Palmeiro on Molitor.
Nolan Ryan has a big problem holding runners. He has such a high leg kick, and Molitor stole 18 out of 21 bases, so he is a threat to go anytime, especially against Nolan Ryan.
When you get people on against Nolan Ryan, you want to take advantage of it. The Brewers are well aware they may not get many. Behind Nolan Ryan, Joe.
Well, Jeff Houston is the key guy at shortstop. Steve Buechele's over at third. Julio Franco, one of the finest infielders in the American League, at second. Rafael Palmeiro, almost the batting champion last year, at first. Gary Pettis will be roaming center field, Gold Glove winner. Ruben Sierra supplies the power from right field, and Jack Doherty will be in left tonight.
Robin Yount with a 1-1 count. Molitor not going. Ryan takes it off. This is up high, 2 balls and 1 strike.
I think this is a situation where Molitor should be going. You have an opportunity to try to score a run off Nolan Ryan, and you have your best base stealer on first base. This is the time that he should be running.
Saw the numbers for him. There he goes, hitting runners on, and it's fouled off by Robin Yount. That'll even the count up at 2 balls and 2 strikes, and Molitor goes back, looking over to first base for the sign again, as they had the hit and run on that time.
Because watch the high leg kick there, and Molitor got a great jump. They're going to have a lot of problems trying to get him at second base on that play.
Ryan taking a very close look. Runner not going, and Yount lifts one high in the air to right center field. Sierra backing up on it, hauls it in. Yount retired on the fly ball out. Molitor at first base with 1 away.
Batting third, number 11. Third baseman
Gary Sheffield is batting third in this lineup. You see the full house. They had the earliest sellout for the opening day that they have ever had for this game. It didn't take long for the tickets to disappear, and the fact the 44-year-old right-hander's on the mound had something to do with that. Sheffield has had an interesting spring, to say the least. Said his GM didn't know anything about baseball.
That's kind of amazing there.
There goes the runner, hit and run on, throw down by Petrali, and it is not in time.
Petrali really had no chance on that. It was a breaking ball, off-speed pitch. And compound that with the fact that Nolan is slow in his delivery to the plate. Molitor had an excellent jump. Watch him take off. Soon as line starts up, now he's running, and it's an off-speed pitch. And Molitor slides in before the throw. Actually, a good throw by Petralli.
Ryan, that one is fouled down the line at third as Gary Sheffield got around on it. Against Ryan last season, base stealers were successful 74% of the time. As Joe was mentioning, you can get the jump on him. Gary Sheffield, you see the numbers for him with runners in scoring position. He has been a very good clutch hitter for the Brewers. And look where that bat is. 0-2. That is a fair ball as it got by Buechele. Molitor makes the turn. He'll score. Doherty up with it, going to second base with a double. Molitor in, Sheffield the double, and the Brewers have a 1-0 lead.
Well, Nolan Ryan did something that's really kind of uncharacteristic of Nolan Ryan. He threw him 3 straight breaking balls, off-speed pitches. And Sheffield set on this one, and he drove it past the dive at third base. That's a breaking ball that hangs, and you'll see Buechele try to come up with it, but the ball is by him so quickly, no chance. But Nolan, that's unusual. You don't, when you have a fastball like Nolan Ryan, you may throw 2 curveballs, but the third pitch you're going to show him the fastball. And he threw him 3 in a row, and he gave him a chance to time it.
Well, Buechele was rocking it during batting practice. Sheffield, rather, during batting practice, hit about 3 balls out, some of them way back in left field. He is winding up and driving the baseball, and he did there. Left-handed hitter Franklin Stubbs with a runner at second, still just 1 out. And he'll take it down low for ball. Andy Maldonado on deck. Stubbs with the Astros last season. He is one of the new acquisitions for the Brewers in the middle of this lineup. Stubbs, Maldonado, and Dante Bichette, all 3 of them coming over. Ryan up at 91 miles an hour on that last pitch. Not on that one as he pulled the string.
There you see the first inning runs that Nolan Ryan allowed last year. That was in 30 starts. 7.58 earned run average in the first inning when you count up 9 first innings.
Big off at second base. Pretty close play. Sheffield just getting back in as Jeff Houston, the shortstop, on the daylight play, almost put the tag on ahead of the bag touch.
It's a good play by Houston and also by Nolan. Nolan, if he would turn just a hair quicker, but that's pretty close right there. Nice play by Houston. He was trying to block him off.
Stubbs hits that one to center field. Pettis misjudged it. Going back, it's off the wall. Holding up at second base, Sheffield. He's going to make the turn. The relay throw is off the mark. It is a double, and it is a 2-0 lead for the Brewers. Franklin Stubbs in his first at-bat for the Brewers delivers an RBI double.
When he hit the ball, I knew he hit it well, and I couldn't understand why Gary Pettis had not started back right away, because he's one of the best defensive outfielders in the major leagues. But it's obvious he misjudged it. But I don't think he could have caught it anyway. The ball hits high off the wall. You see it's a late start, but watch, it hits high off the wall. No chance for him to get back in time and catch it anyway. And it's a double for Stubbs.
And they will make a visit to the mound.
No,
here.
they will not.
They will not.
Nolan Ryan, they got halfway out to the mound, and Nolan Ryan says, hey, I know what I'm doing.
That was interesting.
Yes, it was.
Well, as the pitching coach started out, he was over the line. He went over the first base line. And then he got waved off. And when you're going to the Hall of Fame, 44 years old, your name's Nolan Ryan, you tell the pitching coach when to come out. There's a blaze right there. Maldonado, high heat. Bobby Valentine on the bench.
That was the first time in this ball game I've heard Nolan Ryan grunt. And that is really what he does when he throws his fastball. He did not grunt until that pitch right there. Maybe he's been awakened here or mad, one of the two.
He's mad.
Yeah, you hear him? Now he's grunting. You couldn't hear that before.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Molitor, the single is scored. Sheffield an RBI on the double. Franklin Stubbs an RBI on the double, and he's at second base. That is not a happy man. And Texas will get the bullpen active. They've got Barfield up in the bullpen. Fists that one foul onto the roof of the stadium behind home plate.
In my opinion, 2 things were happening at the beginning of the ball game. Either Nolan Ryan didn't feel like he had the good fastball coming out of the bullpen, or he has a little more respect for Gary Sheffield than he probably should have. When I say that, it's because he threw him 3 straight breaking balls. Nolan Ryan can throw anyone his fastball.
So Barfield up, runner at second now, 1-2 in the dirt. And that has hushed the crowd here in Arlington.
They've seen Nolan struggle through first innings before, so they're just hoping he can get out.
Just missed. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
If he can just get out of this inning, they're thinking with the 2 runs in, they'll be all right.
Making the start here tonight, he is the 4th oldest pitcher in Major League history to start an opener. Nolan Ryan at the age of 44. Maldonado waiting, and he lifts it to center field. Pettis has got the bead on this one. No attempt to advance by Stubbs at second base, and there are 2 down. Maldonado retired.
Number 3.
Former Cleveland Indian is gone, and that will bring up the former California Angel, Dante Bichette. Ryan's got 2 down. $18 pitches thus far thrown in this first inning. This is quite a collection of players from somewhere else. Starting for the Milwaukee Brewers. Parker gone. It opened up the DH hole for Paul Molitor, which opened up a position. So the acquisitions are getting the chance. Ryan's in. Strike 1.
Maybe Nolan Ryan knew exactly what he was doing when he waved Pat House off.
Well,
he turned everything up 1 notch.
Yeah, that's right. You mentioned, Joe, how he was throwing the off-speed stuff. I don't think he's thrown an off-speed pitch since he waved House back into the dugout.
Yeah, he's going right after these guys now. And this is the Nolan Ryan that we all know about. Here's a good fastball. Look at the movement on that ball.
92 miles an hour on that one. 2 down, the 0-2. Ryan looking for his first strikeout. Ryan last season held the opposition to a 188 combined batting average. Keep that in mind with the Brewers having picked up 2 doubles and a single here in the first inning. They may not have many more coming. Foul back. One thing to keep an eye on tonight: when Nolan Ryan pitched against his son last Tuesday, he developed a turf toe, right foot, big toe, somehow, and they don't know how it happened. That turf toe, which is a rubbing which you get on the artificial surface, very aggravating, and they are concerned about that tonight. Got him, and there's Ryan's first strikeout of the season. Bichette goes down. Strikeout number 5,309. But Milwaukee picked up a couple of runs on 3 hits with a runner left on. So before Texas ever gets to the plate in this 1991 season, they are down at 2-0 against the Brewers. Mark Knudson's got a lead to start with, and here's the starting lineup we'll see tonight for the Texas Rangers. Julio Franco will lead it off. He'll be playing at second base. Jack Doherty has had an injured spring, but he's in the lineup in left field. Rafael Palmeiro makes the start at first base. Sierra follows him. That's a big 1-2 punch in the middle of that lineup. Reimer will be making the start. Kevin Reimer is the DH. We'll tell you about him. Gino Petralli, the battery mate for Nolan Ryan, behind the plate. Steve Buechele is at third base. Jeff Houston hoping to get some hits this season. He'll be batting 8th, and the center fielder Gary Pettis will be batting 9th. And that lineup will be going against this 30-year-old right-hander.
Well, the one thing that Mark Knudson will try to do is throw strikes. He has a good fastball. He throws a sinking fastball. He'll cut it a little bit, and he throws a slider. So he will try to keep these guys off balance with those pitches. One of the things that he does well is he will throw a high fastball that make it stay there, rise a little bit, and then we'll throw the sinker off of the same motion. So he can be a little deceptive out there on the mound. There's BJ. He's behind the plate. You know that BJ Surhoff was the #1 draft choice in 1985 over such guys as Will Clark, etc.
How about this draft choice? Let's see an analyst do the job on this, Joe Morgan.
Well, he was throwing much better underneath. Well, he doesn't follow through. He doesn't snap his wrist. He kind of pushed it a little bit, and you can see he's upset. The one thing he didn't want to do is bounce the baseball. Here's our president. He knew right away he didn't put enough on it.
He loves this game of baseball, and yes, he did stay. He's been here most of the day. attending services for John Tower, and then came out to the ballpark this afternoon, went into each clubhouse. Looks like he just gave up one in the 7th game of the World Series, doesn't he? Gino Petralli won't forget that, though. All right, we are ready to go. Julio Franco will be leading it off. Mark Knudson, the right-hander, on the mound with 2 runs to work with against this Texas lineup that had a very bad spring as they went 11 and 19 in spring training. It's the most losses the Rangers have ever suffered. I thought Bobby Valentine had the great out for that. Texas manager says when he was asked about all the losses, he says, well, we know one thing for sure, we haven't peaked. He's right about that.
Well, he's right about that.
At least he hopes he's right about that.
He better hope he's correct. Anyway, you know, I'm looking at Franco leading off. I don't personally, I think Franco is a good RBI man, and you usually hit those guys a little farther down in the order. I'm a little surprised that, you know, Pettis, even though he didn't have a good year last year, is not leading off, and maybe putting Franco and your RBI guys are really Franco and Sierra and Palmeiro. Those are your RBI people.
Joe, I asked Bobby Valentine about that before the game. He said, I am going to juggle this number 1 and 2 spot in my lineup because I don't feel as though I've got either a number 1 or a number 2 hitter.
Well, that may be correct.
He said, I'm going to have to switch some people around and just see how it works.
I think the most important people to find on a ball club are your RBI guys who can hit with men on base.
Franco into Knutson's glove. Look what I found. Stubbs takes it. 1 down.
Well, defensively for the Brewers, Franklin Stubbs, new addition, led off with a double here. Jim Gantner stand by. Bill Spires will be at shortstop, and the controversial Gary Sheffield over at third. And Dante Bichette, he's the guy that was traded for Dave Parker. He's in right. Robin Yount, 2-time MVP in center field. Candy Maldonado had a great year last year for the Cleveland Indians. He will be in left field.
Jack Doherty, a questionable starter for this game. He really performed well last season, but he suffered an injury in spring training, and he is still suffering through it. It's on his left hand, his top hand. He's got a very bad bruise between the middle and the index finger. And you see the wrapping that he's got around it. Doherty swings. It is very painful when he makes contact. That reverberation that comes back through the hand, he says, really bothers him. So he's going to give it a whirl.
The toughest problem for a hitter is to have something wrong with his hands. You can compensate for a lot of other things.
But that's just what he'll do right there, Joe.
Right.
He'll pull off, and he's...
See, you can compensate if you have a bad leg or a bad knee. You can make compensations for those problems. But your hands are what you hit with. You start the bat with your hands. You see he's gripping it very lightly with his left hand. And as he starts, there he releases it very quickly. A lot of guys hit with the top hand off the bat, so he can get away with it maybe for a little while.
We'll get around on that. Gantner, 2 down. 2 away. Let's check in at our Major League Baseball studios. John?
Thanks a lot, gentlemen. Earlier today in Kansas City, Kirk Gibson making his debut as a member of the Royals. First at bat, pulls it down the line in right field, off to the races, winds up on third, 2 for 4 with an RBI, scored a run as well, and watch the enthusiasm. It's back for Kirk Gibson. They win it 4-2. Let's get back to you.
Yeah, he was excited. It's nice to see him healthy and able to play again for the game. 2 down, nobody on. A 2-0 lead for the Brewers here in the bottom half of the first inning. And here's Rafael Palmeiro. Well, if Knudson can get through this, he'll have survived a big inning. Mark Knudson struggles in the first inning just like Nolan Ryan. He had the 2nd highest first inning ERA in the league, 7.76 last year. But he's got 2 down and nobody on. I hope I didn't jinx it.
When you watch Rafael Palmeiro hit, you're really watching a real good hitter. I mean, he approaches the ball so well, and he's got very relaxed hands. He reminds me a little bit of Hank Aaron, with not the power, but being relaxed at the plate. If you can relax your hands, you can really throw them at the baseball. You can get a lot more quickness in your bat, and he has a very relaxed approach. And you can see when he swings, it's kind of flawless when he goes through. It's kind of like Hank Aaron. It looks like he's swinging in slow motion, but it's really a quick bat. And with the fact that he has a lot, look at how his hands are relaxed. Watch how it just flies through the hitting zone right there. No effort at all.
Mark Knudson. 2-2. Drills that one to left center field. Pretty good wood. Maldonado and Yelp going back, warning track. And he makes the basket catch. Candy Maldonado. He made that look easy. It was not. He was on the warning track within a step of the wall. And a very nice defensive play by Candy Maldonado.
As you mentioned, very nice play. He's running all the way, and he's close to the wall, and he makes a nice catch. I thought the ball was between them. He got a good jump on it and got over and made the good catch.
And Knudson will feel better about himself. He got through the first inning. 1, 2, 3. Nolan Ryan giving up a couple of runs on 3 hits in the first inning. We'll go after the bottom part of the order. B.J. Surhoff, the catcher, will lead it off and takes the pitch up high. The Brewers last season finished up 74 and 88. They were 14 games out of first place, hoping to generate some offense. Shallow left. The wind is blowing from right to left and bringing those balls in on that side. Already is there. Puts it away. Surhoff retired one away. That very warm weather here today. Radiational cooling here tonight. And that picks that breeze up. Temperature is over 90 degrees today. Lots of sun. It was magnificent. Those are the conditions right now. And you see the wind 10 to 20. So it's got some pretty good heft to it. One down, base is empty, and here is Jim Gantner. A lot of left-handers in the lineups. Bottom third of the order for Milwaukee. Going from that side against Nolan Ryan. Not that that makes much difference with Ryan. At least it hasn't. Ryan last season. Right-handers hit 158 on the year, and left-handers hit a whopping 218.
A little better anyway.
It's about 1 hit, right?
Yeah.
One.
When I was down warming up the president, Nolan Ryan came out, and you can't imagine how he warms up. You may be able to.
Yeah, I watch him because I believe in what he does.
He plays catch with a football. He throws a football about 30 yards, down the field. Someone throws it back, and he continues to do that till he feels his arm is loose. Then he goes to the mound. It's kind of interesting, I thought.
That's Tom House, the pitching coach of Texas, who originated that. A towering fly ball to right field, pulled right down the line. Sierra will not have a play. He was playing over towards center field. He had a long way to go. The monster pop-up.
When you watch Nolan Ryan, he really reminds me a little bit of Tom Seaver, the way they really drive off the mound. That could be he started with the Mets, and he was taught that way. They both really drive off the mound. They use their lower part of their body to really push off. He really pushes off with that left leg. And I think Tom Seaver used to get a little lower. That's the only difference in their styles.
3-2, and there's strikeout number 2 for Nolan Ryan. Gantner is gone.
Nolan Ryan with the high leg kick, as I mentioned, is very similar to Tom Seaver when he throws a fastball. This high leg kick, they tuck and really drive toward the hitter. And there's the fastball on the inside corner. No chance.
2 strikeouts for Ryan, and he's down to the number 9 hitter, and that's Phil Spires. See the numbers for Spires last season. Starting at shortstop for the Brewers this year. Sheffield got moved over to third last year and has stayed there. Ryan jammed him, and it's fisted down the line for a base hit by Spires. He takes a big turn. Sierra will get it in a hurry. Spires is on with a single. That's the 4th hit for the Brewers. This one coming from the number 9 hitter with 2 down.
Ryan tries to get a fastball on the inside corner. See, Petralli is set up down in the end, but he gets the ball up. And he jams him, and because the ball was up, it goes over the infielder's heads. If you jam a guy while the ball is down, it'll be a little weak ground ball to the infield.
The number 9 hitter against Nolan Ryan, first game of the season, and you got a leadoff single. Your first time up. Success.
Well, you think it's going to be an easy season after that. So it can only get better.
2 away, and Molly swings through that one. Spires had only gone 2 for 14 against Ryan coming into this game. Ryan had struck him out 6 times, so Spires is really feeling good about batting 1,000 down there at first base. Paul Molitor, who singled and stole a base and then scored in the first inning. Runner goes, swung on a miss. Petrali not in time on the one hop. Sherwood Merrill making the call at second base. 2 stolen bases picked up by the Brewers. Molitor had one in the first inning, and Spires gets one here.
Spires doesn't get as good a jump as Molitor did. Watch, he will not take off right away. There, he was a little late. I thought Petrali had a shot at Spires, but he didn't get off as good a throw as he did against Molitor.
Spires had 11 stolen bases last season. In 112 games that he played with the Brewers, he puts himself in scoring position now. Oh, Molitor down on the count. Leans, thinks about it, and lets it go. Molitor struck out only 51 times in 418 at-bats last season. He's a good contact hitter. And he punches it to right. Sierra coming, runner makes the turn. Spires to the plate. Sierra's throw off the mark, and it's 3-0 Brewers. And on the throw, Molitor goes to second base. And the Brewers get back-to-back hits with 2 down. Paul Molitor now has had 2 singles, 2 for 2, a stolen base and a run scored.
Well, that's what the stolen base will do for you, and it'll also put a lot more pressure on Nolan Ryan every time he gets a runner on. Sierra comes up firing. He had a shot at Spires, but he throws it a little bit offline. You can see the ball beats Spires to the plate, but it's so far offline, there was no chance for Petrali to make the tag. Spires comes chugging around. Nolan backing up, but the ball is offline.
Robin Yount down low for a ball. Paul Molitor has picked up right where he's been the last 5 years. 5 consecutive seasons he has been a 300+ hitter with runners in scoring position. He's an outstanding clutch hitter.
Well, he's a very good hitter, all-around hitter, even without men on base. But he and Robin Yount have done a great job over the years for Milwaukee, picking up runners. What you'll see here from Nolan Ryan against a guy like Yount is he'll try to overpower him with the high fastball, and if he gets ahead, then he'll try to get him to chase a breaking ball maybe in the dirt or something like that, something off speed.
1-1, 2 down, and another one of those towering fly balls. Sierra in right, and that will do it. But the Brewers get one of those tough runs with 2 down. They get a back-to-back single and a stolen base. 3-0. Ruben Sierra will lead it off. The cleanup batter for the Rangers. Mark Knudson delivers to him inside for a ball. And we are delighted to say the Major League umpires are back. They are here for tonight's game. Jim Evans, Larry McCoy, Durwood Merrill, Tim McClellan working this game tonight as they got the contract settled. And we'll have the commish. Dave Vincent is here. He's going to drop by and join us during the game. Talking to him before the game, he said it was tough bargaining. They really wanted to get it taken care of, get that umpire's contract done, and they were able to do that with some midnight oil work. Knudson to Sierra, misses inside. 2-1. So welcome back, Major League umpires.
Yes, there's no doubt they are needed. You're going to play a quality brand of Major League Baseball. You need quality umpires behind the plate. Not that the other guys didn't try, but if they were that good, they'd already be in the major leagues.
Quite well taken. Quite well taken. 3 balls and 1 strike. Full house here, and there's the crew. Evans is, of course, the crew chief, his 20th year. It's a veteran crew. The crew chief gets to work behind the plate. Opening day. Sierra slugs it to center field. Robin Yount not going to get that. Sierra's on his way to second. Played in by Dante Bichette, who backed up on the play.
When the ball was first hit, Robin Yount thought he had a chance, but Sierra hits the ball so hard that there's no chance to run it down. It's a low fastball, and he is a great low fastball hitter. He kicks that leg up, similar to Mel Ott, and then he really drives the ball. And Robin Yount started for it. He thought he had a chance, but you can see the ball gets there too quickly for him.
He picks up a lot of those 2 baggers, and he's on at second base. There's something to cheer about here as Ruben Sierra picks up the hit after the 1-2-3 first inning. And that'll be taken for the strike. Sierra had 37 doubles last season. And right now, Sierra against Knudson is 3 for 5 lifetime. 2 home runs and a double are the hits that he's picked up off him. Knudson with a runner at second and nobody out. Reimer. Another one drilled to center. Robin Yount back near the warning track. Looking up. Off the top of the wall. Home run.
Is Knudson gets in trouble because he throws a low pitch to a low ball hitter and a high pitch to a high ball hitter. That's how you get in trouble. You turn those 2 pitches around and he's probably out of it. You know, he's got 2 outs.
Kevin Reimer gets the home run. He is the DH who last season played in 64 games with the Rangers and had a couple of major league home runs. He gets one here in his first at bat. It'll be his 4th ever in the majors. And now it is a 3-2 game, and Tom Trebelhorn, 43-year-old skipper of Milwaukee, suddenly sees that lead cut to 1. And it's fouled back by Gino Petralli. Watch where this hit off Knudson, who gave up 14 last year.
Well, one of the places it hits is solidly on the bat, but see, that pitch is up, and Reimer just drives it to right field. Good swing.
A 400-foot shot right off the wall. Backing up Stubbs, and the coverage made by Knudson. Gino Petralli, first out of this 2nd inning. The crowd, something to cheer about here in Texas. 1 away. Bring up Steve Buechele. Buechele, right-handed batter, playing at third base, a position which the Texas Rangers have had some problems filling over the past few seasons. Scott Coolbaugh was supposed to be the Ranger third baseman of the future. He has been traded away. Buechele just keeps playing. That is a foul ball. Hit him in the batter's box. Strike 1.
Late call by Jim Evans at home plate.
Surhoff's asking him about it. So is Trebelhorn.
And there comes Trebelhorn because they thought the ball was fair, and Evans with a little late call there.
A little help from Tim McClellan, the third base umpire, is coming in.
I think McClellan is trying to, he wants to say if he's needed that, hey, I called it foul as well. But you see, Trebelhorn is saying, why is it a foul ball?
And Evans is going, I came back for this.
Let's take a look. I'm wondering why it's a foul ball also. Yep, the ball hits behind in foul territory, but that doesn't matter because the ball can hit anywhere in foul territory as long as it comes back fair. And you could see the ball hit foul behind the plate and bounced into fair territory.
So Buechele's back in there with the 0-1 count, 1 down. Leaving it up at a ball and a strike. Steve Buechele has picked up a couple of hits in 4 at-bats lifetime against Knudson, but look at those numbers. Does that say platoon all over it?
Yeah, if you look at those numbers.
All you need is someone to platoon with, right?
He's saying, I don't want you to look at those numbers.
Don't look at those numbers. It's a new year. We start from scratch. I'll give you that. Some run on that one, down and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Buechele.
I mentioned he will cut the fastball. That was a cut fastball, which will run away from the right-handed hitter. He'll throw a sinker. Sometimes it'll sink down and in on the right-handed hitter.
3-2 ball game. Brewers are leading it.
There's the
inside corner. Little argument about that as well. Maybe Trebelhorn got something coming out of the dugout, as Buechele becomes the first strikeout victim for Mark Knudson, and there are 2 down. Well, it's your chance to see baseball history. Ricky Henderson is running towards the all-time stolen base record. He will lead the A's against the Twins. Tuesday night baseball, 10:30 Eastern time, right here on ESPN. That's Ricky Henderson, Puckett and company coming up tomorrow night, 10:30. 3 away for Henderson. 2 down here with nobody on. Jeff Houston up. He'll gain some respect at third as Sheffield moves in. Houston will lay the ball down once in a while for the base hit, or at least try to. Knutson's there, 1-0.
Gary, speaking of tomorrow night's game, I know Ricky Henderson is glad to get the season underway. I bet he's the happiest guy in Oakland right about now. Let's get started. Let's play baseball, because he does love to play baseball.
There's the turnaround right there. He takes it, and it misses down low. 2 balls and 1 strike. For Mark Knudson, this is his first start, and kind of by default. Teddy Higuera's gone on the DL. He's got rotator cuff problems. He would have been number 1 in that starting rotation. Basio's got a bad knee. Robinson's got some problems with the elbow. Now both Basio and Robinson are in the starting rotation. They are going to pitch this weekend, but they missed some innings pitched in the spring. So it was Knutson's opportunity, as he was 3rd man and the 4th man really in the starting rotation. He said, I don't care how it falls. It's opening day, and I'm happy to pitch it.
Yeah, but he also had a very good spring. He pitched well in the spring, so he really earned it, considering the fact that, you know, he was the number 4 starter, but he pitched well enough to be a starting pitcher for someone on opening day.
Houston draws it full, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Houston will take walks when he can get them. He's not a free swinger up there. He picked up last season 46 walks, 54 strikeouts. 2 down, bases empty. 3-2. We'll do it again. Dave Vincent, the commissioner, has joined us here. And after this half inning, we will get him on with us, and we'll talk some baseball. What a beautiful night, huh?
Yes, it is.
It's magnificent. It's a perfect baseball night. Second time with the 3-2. Got him. Houston takes that high heat. A second strikeout for Knudson, both coming in this inning, but a run scored. A couple on Reimer's 2-run homer. Milwaukee with the lead, 3-2, as we go to the top of the 3rd inning, and the commissioner of baseball, Dave Vincent, is with us, and we are delighted to see you again.
Well, I'm glad to be with both of you. It's nice to be here.
Congratulations on getting the umpires' matter settled.
Well, you know, really, Bobby Brown and Bill White deserve the credit. That was a hard piece of work for them. And, Richie Phillips was compliant and accommodating, and we got it done. So I'm happy it's done.
Very much so. Gary Sheffield will lead it off, and he crunches it to left field. What an uppercut he's taking. The wind blowing it over. He'll be hauled in by Doherty. Sheffield retired, 1 away. You love this game as a fan.
Oh, sure. I love nights like this. Doesn't get any better than this. It's a wonderful evening. Packed house, the President of the United States, and having the umpires back to work, and the first game of the season, it's just wonderful.
1 down, nobody on. Stubbs up, doubled in a run his first time up. Looks like you're finally going to get a season. It's just baseball.
Well, don't say it. You know. Superstitious.
Ryan's delivery down the right field line, curving near the pole. That'll be a souvenir in the seats. Talk about uppercuts.
Well, Franklin Stubbs, a good low fastball hitter, and Nolan Ryan challenged him, and he got a little bit out in front and pulled it foul.
Ryan 0-1 with 1 down. Ooh, hello. Just a reminder that heat is hard over your head. Did you see Stubbs' reaction on that? He was praying as he went backwards.
The ball goes behind him, not in front of him. Watch, this ball is behind his helmet.
Oh.
I mean,
and a foul
ball. Can you imagine? That cost him a strike. Well, they didn't give it. They called it a ball.
Remember Ryan Durham?
Yes.
Coke bottle glasses?
Yeah, right over their heads. Looked like it hit his back.
It did hit his back.
File a report on that. Here's the 1-1. 2-1.
It's early.
But
It's
I tell
early.
you what, I think Jim Evans was scared as well. I mean, he was scared for his safety. He wasn't worried about whether it was a strike or not. You can see it does hit the back.
And then Ryan changes up on him and floats the butterfly in, and Stubbs is talking to himself and asking Evans, was that a strike? Right now, he'd almost be happy to go back. The fastball over his head was 88 miles an hour. That one was 80 miles an hour. 2-2. And he floats it again and gets it.
One thing about Nolan Ryan, I played with him. He was a teammate of mine. He is conveniently wild every once in a while. I'm sure he was not trying to hit Franklin Stubbs, but he did accomplish what he wanted to. Franklin Stubbs pulled that good fastball foul, and he went behind him, and then he comes back with 2 off-speed breaking balls, and see you later. You're not going to lean out over the plate after that.
No, I'm sure that's right.
3 strikeouts for Ryan. Maldonado 2 down. As we begin this 1991 season, Fay Vincent, status of the game.
Well, I think it has great strengths. You can see a lot of it tonight. Having the president here is a great honor to baseball, and we all are delighted to have him with us. Great attendance in the last several years, but we've got some major problems, and we're going to have to address those. It's no secret that the small franchises are struggling, and we've got to come up with an answer for that.
An expansion?
Well, expansion is an opportunity and a problem. We're going to deal with it, but we'd love to have these teams come in and be successful, and that's going to be a great challenge.
Ryan with a 1-2. Crowd roaring. That one misses down low. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Commissioner, you mentioned the small markets. Do you think revenue sharing may be an answer?
Well, yeah, I think that's part of it, Joe. I'm sure there are a number of answers. We obviously have to look at what basketball did and talk to the Players Association, but it's in all of our interests, I think, including the players, to preserve the 26, 28 franchises, and I think that's really our objective. Revenue sharing within baseball may be part of it.
My sense is that may be your biggest job right now, is to convince owners and players the things that are in all of their best interests.
Well, I think the study commission which we put together with the Players Association is unique. It's a great opportunity to see what the future of baseball holds.
Well, it's held that for a long time. Nolan Ryan gets his 4th strikeout of the game, retires the side in order. Commissioner Fay Vincent, thank you for coming by. Enjoy the game.
Well, it's a joy to be with you both. Good luck to both of you.
Milwaukee up 3-2.
ESPN Major League Baseball is brought to you by Budget Rent-A-Car. The smart money is on budget. And by Subway, sandwiches and salads for the healthy appetite.
Right in the middle of Dallas-Fort Worth. As you take a look at Dallas, is Arlington, Texas, the home of the Texas Rangers. Fort Worth on the other side. Very convenient to the big, beautiful airport here to get people in and out, and we decided not to let the commissioner go.
Well, we thought the president was calling him,
That's
but
right.
he really wasn't.
The president wasn't calling him, so we kept him here.
I'm at your service.
You're the only one.
we know the power of the media. We in baseball.
Oh, right. Gary Pettis, his first at-bat of the season. He's batting 9th in the order. And takes it up high from Knudson. Sheffield charging in from third base.
Commissioner, as a kid, you know, you meet a lot of people as a baseball player, and I met Gary Pettis. He used to come to my house and visit with my sister. And I was there one day, and he said, you know, I'm going to grow up, I'm going to be a Major League Baseball player. And, you know, in your mind, you say, well, yeah, sure, kid. You know, I hope you make it. And about my final year in 1984, I went to play the California Angels. He comes running up to me, and he said, remember me? And, of course, I did. And we talked about it. It was very thrilling to have a kid have that as a goal and to grow up and be a Major League player.
Well, I think that's one of the great secrets of baseball is the admiration that all of us as kids had for the great players. You know, I worshiped DiMaggio. When I grew up in Connecticut, DiMaggio was a great ball player, and it's still a thrill for me to shake hands with him and with
Right.
Ted Williams, people that I just thought were spectacular.
Now you're talking. That's
in,
my man.
in every sense. Well, that's right, both of them.
2-2, absolutely. Williams was my hero, plastered the bedroom with all those pictures out of the newspapers that yellowed as I got older. That last home run with his eyes closed.
That's right. That's the great John Updike short story.
Yeah.
Essay.
3 balls, 2 strikes on Gary Pettis. 3-2 ball game. The Brewers on top. RBIs in the first. Sheffield and Stubbs. That one into center field. Robin Young. One center fielder to another. One down here in the bottom half of the third.
Therein lies part of the problems that Gary Pettis has had, though. He hits too many balls in the air. He doesn't use his speed. You know, if you're a guy like Gary Pettis who runs well, you have to keep the ball on the ground.
You allowed to make predictions?
Not publicly.
Well, I tell you what, give us your top 2 teams in each division. How about that?
Not on your life.
That's good. I like that.
Too many friends in baseball for that.
Okay.
Just like the president would have done that.
You know what I say to people? They say, which is your favorite team? I say, how many children do you have? And they say 4. And I say, which is your favorite child?
Yeah, that's
perfect
tough.
response.
They get the point.
Franco grounded out his first time up. But he's done well against Knudson in his career. 6 hits in 13 at-bats against the starting right-hander for the Brewers. The lifetime is 23 and 26 in his major league career. 0-1. And inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. How many games do you get to see, go to?
Well, it's a good question, Gary. I think last year I saw about 75 games.
Not bad.
I averaged better than 2 a week, and in some weeks many more than that. But that's the great joy. I think whenever I get depressed or feel that things are going very badly, I get out to a ball game, and it really has a great curative effect.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Out in front of that one and popped it up. Short. Spires, maybe Sheffield, the third baseman. Look out. Shortstop running the traffic signal out there. Spires puts it away, and there are 2 down.
Spires is calling. You can see he thinks he's going to catch it all the way, but Sheffield is coming into the pitcher to make the catch as well. Spires takes charge and makes the catch. That was a Texas Ranger fan.
Look at that. Look at that smile there.
Now, are you guys excited about the season?
Yes.
You find it the same way the rest of us do. Great to be back.
I'm excited for a couple of reasons, you know, being a former player and just the excitement that pennant races generate. And I think you're going to have better pennant races all over this year than ever before. If you look at the National League West, you know, 3 teams probably could win, and most of the divisions are that way.
You know what, I told somebody today before the game, for me, I would not miss opening day. I don't care if I see opening day or the playoffs in the World Series, but give me everything that comes in the middle. That's what I like about baseball. 1-1. Grounded down to third. This is going to be a long throw. Sheffield with a towering arm. No on the stretch. Stubbs tried, but not quite. And Doherty is on at first base.
That was a very nice play by Stubbs at first base. Sheffield takes a little too long to make the play. He straightens up and he relies on his arm. Doherty just reaches out and pokes it down the third baseline. Sheffield's playing him to pull. See, now he takes a little too much time, and he relies on his arm, and he throws it to the inside. And Stubbs tried to stay on the bag but came off.
It is an error on the throw on Sheffield.
The throw is in plenty of time. It's just offline. It's really a nice play by Stubbs.
That looks so much easier than what it is to catch that ball on the foul side of the bag. Oh. Here's Palmeiro now. Our first error of the game. 2 down runner at first. 3-2 Brewers on top.
I was here last year, and the game went in extra innings, and young George Bush said to Palmeiro, look, we're all tired. Go up to the plate and get us out of here. We want to go to bed. And by God, he hit it out on the 4th pitch.
I remember that. That's right.
We've talked about it ever since.
Now that's an owner.
Yeah, that's Babe Ruth.
Off Knutson's glove. That's going to be a base hit into center field. Doherty, a big turn at second, will stay as Robin Yount plays it back in. So Palmeiro's got his first hit of the season, a seeing eye single up the middle. And with 2 down, 2 runners are on. The error and the single by Palmeiro.
when you're a pitcher like Knudson, you cannot have mistakes by your infielders behind you, because these hitters will make you pay for it. They will put the ball in play. It's a sinker over the plate, and he just does not get his glove up in time, and it goes on into center field. But he basically should be out of the inning. And when you give the Texas Rangers extra at-bats against a pitcher who does not strike out a lot of hitters, you're going to have problems.
So Ruben Sierra with the RBI opportunity. Sierra, switch hitter, doubled. There's his club. He scored in the second inning on the 2-run homer by Kevin Reimer. Now he's got 2 on and 2 out. Deep in the outfield.
This guy's always impressed me as a terrific ball player.
Fantastic hitter.
Yeah,
and he's going to get better. I think that's the key. He's getting better all the time. If I was Trebelhorn, I'd be very worried right now, because I don't think Knudson has a pitch that he can go to really handle Sierra. He can't overpower him, and he doesn't have a good enough breaking ball.
Just comes in with it down the strike zone. 1-1. Commissioner, the DH status, the eternal, ongoing, year-to-year question. Is there anything else to be done or said there?
Well, you know, I continue to think it would be great to get rid of it. We've got some owners in the American League who are supportive of that idea, but nothing's imminent, and we know we'd have to do some intensive bargaining with the Players Association. I think in time it will happen.
Center field, Robin Yount backing up at the wall, has room, makes the catch. 400 feet away. Sierra wiping the brow. Knudson. Yo, to our left on.
National League Cy Young Award winner Doug Drabek of the Pirates struggling against the Expos tonight. That's Ivan Calderon. Sends this one out as Bonds barely moves. Came over in the trade from the White Sox for Tim Raines. 4-0 is the score, and Dennis Martinez has yet to surrender a hit through 5. Back to Gary and Joe.
Well, Montreal is hoping that Ivan Calderon is going to be a leader for them, and he wants to be. He is playing with a vengeance in the spring. 4th inning, we've completed 3 here as Nolan Ryan delivers the curveball. Dante Bichette, 3 innings for the Brewers, 3-5-1. The Rangers, 2-3-0. Texas scoring on Kevin Reimer's 2-run homer in the second inning. RBIs for Milwaukee, Sheffield, Stubbs, and Paul Molitor. Bichette, Suroff, and Ganton.
Gary, the last time up, Nolan Ryan decided he was going to go after the hitters. He threw a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, a 92-mile-an-hour fastball, another 92-mile-an-hour fastball, and then a 78-mile-an-hour breaking ball. No chance.
0-2. Unlucky. Now this is Nolan Ryan. He has struck out the last 3 batters that he faced. The last 2 pitches at 91 miles an hour. 5 in the game.
He struck Bichette out with a good breaking ball last time, and with 2 strikes, Bichette starts to look for it. But when you're facing a guy like Nolan Ryan, you have to look for the fastball. You can adjust to the curve, but you cannot look for the curve and hit his fastball, so you better look for the heat. Right on the outside corner. See you later.
Off the glove of Gino Petrali. 5 strikeouts in the game, and Ryan keeps pushing him up. 5,313 in his career now.
Do you realize, Gary, if you would not have faced me, he'd only have 5,307?
He got you 6 times.
Yeah, he got me 6 times.
I checked. I wanted to see, because I knew my hero, Joe Morgan, that wouldn't be up there in double digits in strikeouts, and you weren't.
Probably because I didn't face him that much.
Well, I wasn't going to say that. Suroff. Yeah, you got him.
Yeah, he's in my book.
You got him.
Yeah. I hit a home run off from him 1984 to beat him a game. I hit a home run in the 8th inning. We beat him 1-0. I was playing for the Phillies, 1983.
Man. Off the fist to left center field. Doherty, 2 down. We want to thank Fay Vincent, the Commissioner of Baseball, for joining us for 6 outs. We told him 3, but he really loves this game. This is a great fan of baseball.
Well, I think you can tell that in this conversation. He really enjoys the game, and he's very healthy now. I think that's the important thing. And he just loves to be back out, you know, at the ballpark. And you mentioned the fact that, you know, hopefully this will be a trouble-free year for him, and he can just get a chance to enjoy being the commissioner.
No chance on high heat, and he certainly has earned that kind of season. Nolan Ryan is 12-9 lifetime against the Brewers and a very successful 2.88 earned run average against Milwaukee. And he takes that one inside with 2 down here. We told you the president stayed. Barbara Bush is there on the right-hand side. The president over on the left. In the box here of son George Bush. Swung on and missed. Turned that one over a little bit. 1 and 2.
And there's George Jr. He's part owner of the Texas Rangers. He does not sit in the private boxes. He always sits out there in his seats behind the dugout.
Good PR. Good folks to see you down in the seats, and a great place to watch the game.
It's
1-2.
the best place.
Yeah, it is. Big Antler up high. When you watch a baseball game, if you had a choice of any seat in the park, where would you sit?
Well, I would have 3 places. One would be directly behind the home plate for a couple innings so I could see what the pitcher was featuring. The other would probably be over either dugout. Not in the dugout, but over either one of them.
Ryan gets it. And from where we're looking, that's 6 strikeouts. The Texas fans are loving it. Brewers, though, are up 3-2. And tennis getting away is see on Thursday afternoon. And note that is at 2:30 here on ESPN.
I love tennis, Gary.
You play a lot of tennis.
Yeah, I play a lot.
Kevin Reimer delivered a home run his first time up. He earned a spot with Texas last season, coming on as a premier pinch hitter. He hit 300, 3rd highest pinch hit average in the American League. And he earned himself a role as a DH. 64 games last season. Overall hit 260, but that 300 average as a pinch hitter. Had a couple of home runs, 15 RBIs in 64 games. Spent most of the season at AAA. He's 26 years old. He's been around a while. His minor league career goes back to 1985. Prior to last season, he'd been up and down for the last 3 years, with only 15 games in 2 seasons before last year. Got some power. Maybe playable. Puts it away. John Saunders is at our Major League Baseball studios. John.
We told you Doug Drabeck was struggling. They bring in Neil Heaton. He gives up 3 consecutive hits, including this one by Ron Hassey, who drives in his 2nd run of the game in his first year with the Expos. That made it a 5-0 game. They've just moved into the bottom of the 6th inning. The Pirates are struggling. Back to Gary and Joe.
Pirates are the team that you don't really understand what's going to happen to them this year. You don't know what's going to happen. They can be an awesome team again, or they can really go toward the bottom because they've got a lot of internal problems or things that they have to settle there.
Gino Petrali, 1 down and nobody on. All the contract disputes that just kept going on all winter and all spring, and people want to be traded. The MVP and the runner-up MVP not getting deals done.
Yeah, that's tough.
Mark Knudson, a couple of strikeouts and no walks. What a difference tonight, both ends of the spectrum. Nolan Ryan, who averages more strikeouts per 9 innings than anyone, and Mark Knudson, who last year was last in the major leagues in strikeouts per 9 innings. He's got 3 in this game. He's already over his average. He averaged 2.99.
Third baseman, Steve Bushell.
Calling the New York Mets Sunday night on ESPN baseball this summer. Joe Morgan, I've been working on it. I got it. Miller, those impersonations, they got to go out the window. No way. Sunday night on ESPN. Check it out.
Joe Morgan, what was that?
That was David Cone.
Yeah, but what was that arm flap? What was that, huh?
He was imitating me,
I know
guess.
he was.
But he's very David Cone. He's a character anyway.
The Conehead. Steve Bushell with 2 down and nobody on. 3-2 Brewers are leading this one. The runs coming early. Nothing over the last couple of innings. Nolan Ryan, he'll take some liquid intake here in this game. Has the jacket on, even though it is about 88 degrees here in Arlington. And that's going to be a base hit down the line and into the corner. Andy Maldonado over to get it on his way to second base. Bushell, who got called out on strikes his first time up, equalizes that a bit with a 2-out, 2-bagger.
And the crowd noise in the background is boo, 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 shell, not boo.
He had 10 doubles last year. That's his first one this year.
Whenever Knudson gets the ball up, these guys are going to hit it hard because he doesn't have an overpowering fastball. And that pitch was up and out over the plate. And Buechele just reached out and drove it down the left field line.
So the potential tying run is now on at second base. And here is the shortstop, Jeff Houston. 26-year-old. Major League career average is .234. He was called out on strikes as well the first time up. And Knudson misses outside. Jeff Houston, minor league ball since '86, getting a chance for the Texas Rangers last season after coming over from Montreal. 2 down, runner at second, the 1-0. This is up high. He hit only .233 with runners in scoring position at 2 out last year, being called on to deliver some RBIs in the bottom of the order for Bobby Valentine's Rangers. Could be a problem for them this season. They've got a great middle of the order, right, but the bottom part does not produce a lot of runs.
And again, I think with Franco at the top of the order, it's really not going to help a lot.
Popped that one up down the left field line. Maldonado in foul territory hauls it in, and that will do it. No runs, a base hit, a runner left on at second. 3 have been stranded by Texas, 2 by Milwaukee. Nolan Ryan has retired the last 7 batters that he's faced, and including 4 strikeouts among those 7. So he's on in the middle, which is not unusual. Spires, who singled his first time up, puts the breaking ball down low. For the Milwaukee Brewers, their hope is they'll be able to stay healthy. It has been a struggle for Milwaukee over the past 5 seasons. There you see the pitch count on him. They only have Teddy Higuera and Bill Wegman on the DL. Not that that's minor with your ace starter on. This club over the past 5 years has had injuries 60% higher than the major league average. Lost player days. And you're just not going to win when you got all those people out.
No, not unless you have a great bench. And very few teams have great benches now simply because there are so many baseball teams now. Most of the good players are on the field now.
2-0 delivery. And Ryan misses with that one, and the count goes to 3-0. He thought he had that one at the letter high strike level.
See, Nolan thought it was a strike.
Sure did. And that's the first walk given up by Nolan Ryan. So Spires, the number 9 batter, has been on twice with a single and a walk. And he scored in the second inning on Paul Molitor's single, and Molitor comes to the plate now. Looking down to third to see what Tom Trebelhorn wants done. Duffy Dyer, the third base coach, relaying the signs through to Molitor, who's the designated hitter in the leadoff spot. He's 2 for 2, an RBI and a run scored. Even with a bag at third, Buechele. Fastball misses.
Gary, because of the pursuits of Nolan Ryan the last couple of years of 5,000 strikeouts and the 300 wins, I think it's taken a little of the pressure off Bobby Valentine's. People have not really focused on the fact that the Rangers have not moved up in the standings like everyone thought they would. But I think this year all the focus will be on what they do as a team and not so much on what Nolan Ryan accomplishes. I think he's been good for them, but by the same token, he's kind of camouflaged what they're really trying to do.
They were 83 and 79 last season, 20 games out, and there were lots of boos when Bobby Valentine was introduced here in Texas tonight with the Rangers, and most of it's over Pete Incaviglia.
I think a lot of it is, as you mentioned, is over Incaviglia, because most of the newspaper articles, all the things I read or heard from fans was that they did not want Incaviglia to go. I mean, the fans love guys to hit the ball out of the ballpark. Sure, they strike out a lot, etc., but the fans love that. Home run hitters are, you know, a premium to have on a ball club. But by the same token, I understand what Bobby Valentine's trying to accomplish in that he wanted to bunt more, hit and run, and do a lot of things. So he doesn't want to depend on one guy to be the big thumper in the lineup hitting all the home runs. But it's hard to replace guys that can hit the ball out of the ballpark.
And of course, he's been signed by the Tigers, so if you want to see home runs and strikeouts, go to Tiger Stadium. They are going to test all of the things we've ever talked about in baseball.
But it'll be exciting.
Runner goes, hit and run on. Petrali's throw, and that's the third stolen base. Two of them picked up by Spires, the other by Molitor, and Spires repeating the second inning. He got on, stole second, and he's back there again. And Bobby Valentine somewhat perturbed about the 3-for-3 in stolen bases for Milwaukee.
Well, again, Nolan Ryan does not hold the runners well, and we got to look at the second baseman and shortstop. The second baseman gave him the sign that he was covering, so he goes over to cover. Second baseman backs up Franco, but the throw is not nearly in time.
Spires in scoring position again, and Molitor trying to go the other way with it. Fouls it back to take the count to 1-2.
You mentioned Molitor trying to go the other way. That is the right thing to do in this situation. And we talk about it all the time. We say you're supposed to hit behind the runner, move the runner up. But do you know how many guys that actually do that on a consistent basis? Not very many. You know, they'll foul off a couple of pitches and get 2 strikes and then go to, just go ahead and hit. But very few guys can hit the ball to the right side consistently. That's one of the reasons I think the Oakland A's are going to miss Carney Lansford a lot. Ricky Henderson steals second base. Lansford could move him over very easily.
Molitor does it again, even with a count 1-2. Ryan wasn't going to let him as he came inside on him, trying to fight that off, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes.
There's Paul Molitor in the zone. What you're basically seeing here is that he's a high ball hitter, likes the ball up in the strike zone, and he can hammer it from up there. You try to keep the ball down.
One ball, 2 strikes, nobody out. Runner at second. Bounced. Petrali stopping that one. Well, one thing Gino won't have to deal with this season, Charlie Huff. The knuckleballer is gone. Gino gets credited with, or discredited with, all kinds of pass balls.
This is one of those 58-foot curve balls, and he blocks it, does a good job of keeping the ball in front of him. I think what Nolan was trying to accomplish there, Molitor is shooting the fastball to right field, throw him a curveball and make him pull it to the left side, keep him from moving the runner along.
Gino has 87 career pass balls. Struck him out, and most of those with Huff on the mound. Nolan Ryan has 7 strikeouts in this game. He gets Molitor, who is a tough man to strike out.
Once you throw the off-speed pitch, and you can come back with the fastball if you have a 90+ mile-an-hour fastball like Nolan Ryan does. This is a fastball off the plate outside. After throwing the curveball inside, he had him set up perfectly for this pitch. And you can see Molitor can only wave at it.
So Robin Yount will give it a whirl. 302 career wins against 272 losses for Nolan Ryan after 303 here tonight. And Robin Yount takes the pitch down low. Bullpen has been active before, and it's active again for the Texas Rangers. They have Barfield up for the second time and Brad Arnsberg up for the first time. Robin Yount 1-1.
That's where you'll see Nolan try to pitch Robin all day, and he's been successful so far during the ball game. By getting the fastball up, he's gotten 2 fly balls from Robin Yount, up and away.
5-2 in opening day starts. The lifetime record for Nolan Ryan, having won last season over Toronto, working 5 innings in the opener. Yount takes it inside. You heard the grunt of Nolan Ryan after the delivery. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Second base occupied by Spires, who started the inning with a walk and stole second.
He pitched against his son last week. He was so nervous that he didn't even grunt until about the 3rd inning.
Robin Yount caught that one high, left center field, way back at the wall, looking up, off the top of the wall, stays in play, rounding the bag, and it is a home run.
They call it a home run.
It is a home run. Durwood Merrill going out, hit the top and over, and Robin Yount on a 2-1 pitch has delivered a 2-run homer. And the Brewers are up on top 5-2.
Well, Nolan tried to get him out with the high fastball again, and he had 2 fly balls off the high fastball before. But Robin Yount gets around on this one and hits it over the left field wall.
Or at least off the top of it.
counts is over.
We've had 2 off the top of the wall in this game. 1 out now with the bases empty, and Sheffield going for the downs. Nolan Ryan gave up 18 home runs last season. Robin Yount got that home run off a 93-mile-an-hour fastball.
And that was a pretty good fastball. He got it in a little more than he wanted, and it hits off the top of the fence.
You see why that was a home run. It went off the wall and underneath the stands and then came back on the field. It wasn't just off the top of the wall. The stands are so close to the top of that wall, the ball can hit the top of the wall, bounce off the cement, and come back. And that's what happened. Good call by Durwood Merrill, the second base umpire.
You could see Don Baylor. There's the wall. You can see it. It is. The fence is actually behind the wall.
Strange would have 2 of those in this game.
And there's Robin Yount.
Sheffield drills it to left. That's a foul ball.
Tell you what, Sheffield is handling everything that Ryan has thrown so far. He's been able to handle the curveball, and he was out in front of that fastball.
It's the second career home run by Robin Yount off Nolan Ryan. The 6th hit for the Brewers. Sheffield, shallow left field. Doherty, Pettis, nobody can get it. Jeff Houston was closest, and a bloop single for Sheffield, who's 2 for 3 with a double and a single, and Ryan has given up 7 hits. Let's check in on our studios. John Saunders.
You remember last year? Well, I know it's early, but the Expos facing the Pirates. 6th inning here. Dennis Martinez strikes out Bonilla on the check swing. He has yet to give up a hit through 6. If he carries that through 7, we'll take you live out to Pittsburgh. The Shields with a 2-run homer, 7-0.
All right, we'll keep you posted on that one. There's a guy who's going to throw a no-hitter somewhere along the way. Dennis Martinez is one of those. When he is on, he is tough.
He is tough all the time. Here's Houston chasing the pop-up, and he catches on a big hop and keeps it, holds him to a single.
The bullpen is ready for Texas if they need help here. Stubbs takes the strike. We are in the 5th inning.
Yeah, but I don't think Nolan has said he's had enough yet.
No. No, he wants to get, number one, he wants to be in a position to be credited with a victory in this game.
And I think he feels he's still throwing well. He's made a couple of mistakes, but he's throwing well.
Still got it up there at 92. Runner goes. Stubbs and the hit and run fouls it back. Milwaukee is running on Nolan Ryan.
That has been most of his problem. And don't think that that does not play on his mind. When he gets on a man on first base, that takes a little bit of his concentration away from the plate. A great base stealer always does that. A pitcher has to give him some of his concentration so he can't give 100% to the plate. So when a team starts to run a lot, that takes a little bit of the pitcher's concentration away from the hitter, and he will make more mistakes than he normally would.
Stubbs doubled an RBI in the 1st inning. Runner goes again, hit and run on it again. Fouled off. And the count is no balls, 2 strikes with 1 out. A runner at first, and a 5-2 lead for the Brewers. Ryan's pitch count is up to 86. Tom Trebelhorn's team last season lost the series to Texas 7-5. The Brewers hit only .233 against the Rangers on the season and had only 3 home runs. They're doing a whole lot better than that tonight against Ryan in this opener. Runner goes again. Stubbs strikes out. Petrali's throw in time, and Petrali gets one. 1 of 4 with a throw taken by Jeff Houston. So it ends up a strike him out, throw him out, double play.
Well, Nolan throws a fastball by Stubbs. Petrali comes up firing. Close play at second base, but he tags Sheffield just before he gets there.
But a couple of runs on Robin Yount's 226 career home run.
ESPN Major League Baseball is brought to you by Pizza Hut, proud sponsor of National Cable Month, who this month is offering a lunch deal you gotta try. Pizza Hut, making it great. And by America's favorites, A&W Root Beer and A&W Cream Soda. It's the taste that made A&W famous.
Mark Knudson ready to go, and he gets it in for the strike. The Rangers will have Pettis leading it off in the 9 spot. Top of the order, Franco and Doherty to follow. You see the line as we go to the bottom half of the 5th inning. Knudson again with a lead. He had a 2-run lead earlier. He has a 3-run lead now. Pettis to left. Andy Maldonado. Couple of fly ball outs, 2 down. Joe Morgan, this is how the inning ended.
Well, Franklin Stubbs swings at a low and away fastball. Petrale makes a good throw. Houston goes over to cover. And you can see that he tags Sheffield just before he gets to the bag. Double play.
Strike him out, throw him out.
Strike him out, throw him out. First time they've caught a Brewer runner tonight.
So that's 8 strikeouts now for Nolan Ryan, but he is down in this game 5-2. And isn't this a picture of Nolan Ryan's career in this game?
Yes.
1-0. Franco 0 for 2.
We were talking about, you know, the fact that Incavilla is not here anymore. Interesting story. Tom Grieve, the Ranger general manager, went to Michigan, and he was in a conversation with Bo Schembechler about Incavilla. And it's obvious that he must have given him a good intro because they signed him. And I talked to Tom about it, and he says he doesn't want to take any credit for it, but they felt that they wanted to try to help Incavilla, you know, go to another team.
And Incavilla is a bitter man.
Yes, he is right now. He said he's going to try to get Valentine fired.
That's what he said. He said on network television that he will do everything in his power to get Bobby Valentine fired from his job as manager of the Texas Rangers.
Well, the only thing I think he can do is maybe hit 50 home runs.
That's right. That's what he's talking about, is having having a great year. I hope. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I don't think he meant anything else. Played to first by Spires, and Franco's retired. And Knudson settling in. He gave up the home run to Reimer, a 2-run shot in the 2nd inning for the only runs by the Rangers, who have only 4 hits, 2 doubles, single, and the home run.
Well, speaking of Bobby Valentine before the game, I mean, he says he really likes Incavilla. Nothing personal. It was just, you know, something that they felt they had to do.
Bobby Valentine said he didn't think he was going to be able to get Incavilla enough times at bat.
Right.
And he wanted to get him somewhere where he'd have more times at bat.
I think he was a little surprised that it took so long for someone else to sign him.
Doherty chops that one. This is going to be a tough play. Sheffield got to hurry. Boy, what a cannon he's got. Remember, he's a former shortstop, so over at third base, and this guy gets it. He can ram it to first base. 5-2 Brewers. Thorne, Joe Morgan, great to have you with us on this opening night of Major League Baseball for this 1991 season. The Brewers are leading at 5-2. Nolan Ryan on the mound has given up the 5 runs on 7 hits, walking 1 and striking out 8. Ryan, the all-time leader in strikeouts and walks, and 5th in starts, and 12th in innings, and 10th in shutouts, and on with 6 no-hitters. And he's behind in this game to the Brewers.
And he wants to know why Jim Evans didn't think that was a strike.
He thinks he's getting squeezed a little bit in this game.
Yes, he does.
Maldonado's flied out, struck out. One of the 8 Ks for Ryan. 1-0. After the high riser that time and tipped it into the mid of Petrale. 1-1. Just the farmer from Texas.
I say just like any farmer from Texas, right?
That's right.
Has a freeway expressway named after him, the Nolan Ryan Expressway.
Has a picture that's 8,000 by 4,000 feet on the outside of the stadium.
Yeah, it's like any rancher from Texas.
Biggest thing I've ever seen.
That is the largest photo I think I've ever seen.
2-1 is foul back, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Life does not begin until you're 40 years old for Nolan Ryan, right?
Well, I think sometimes we get smarter as we get older, and I think that's what happened to Nolan Ryan here. His strikeouts have gone up, but his base on balls have gone down. And I think that Nolan Ryan is a smarter pitcher now than he was, you know, say 10 years ago.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Just inside. A year ago, when Ryan started against Toronto, he was clocked up to 96 and averaged 94 miles an hour in the heat. Tonight, fastest we've clocked him at's 93, and he's averaging 90. He's there. 3-2. There's the second walk. The first one hurt Ryan. It led off the 5th inning. It was Spires who scored ahead of Robin Yount's home run. Now he starts out the 6th inning with another walk, this one to Maldonado. Joe, one thing of note we were talking about this afternoon, Nolan Ryan's number of walks per 9 innings has decreased over the last few seasons, and last year was his best.
Well, one of the reasons I think is that Nolan does not feel that he has to hit the outside corner with every pitch or the inside corner anymore. He feels that he can get away with balls in the middle of the plate.
Franco, Jeff Houston, double play.
That will help a lot.
That'll get you home in a hurry.
Nolan does not throw a lot of ground balls, so he does not get a lot of double plays behind him. But he gets this a perfect situation. He actually jams the hitter, so he hits it on the ground. Franco to Houston to Palmeiro. Nice play. You practice that every day in spring training, and I don't think you could do it any better than it was done there.
Nolan Ryan had only 5 ground ball double plays all last season.
Right.
Second lowest in the American League.
Well, he only got a ground ball then because he jammed the guy, and the guy hit the ground ball. He is a strikeout, pop-up pitcher, fly ball pitcher.
2 down, bases empty. Surhoff to left. Doherty's there, and only 3 are faced despite the leadoff walk by Nolan Ryan. Now he needs some run support as the Brewers are up by 3. Rangers would like to get some runs now for Nolan Ryan. As we go to the bottom half of the 6th inning, Mark Knudson's pitching a strong game, though. He hasn't walked anybody. He's struck out 3. Rangers have left only 3 on base, 2 of those in scoring position. Palmeiro, his single came in the 3rd inning. There's 1 for 4 now lifetime against Knudson, who gets the first pitch in for a strike. That's what has really helped Mark Knudson, as it will any pitcher. He's been able to get a lot of first strikes in this game. 1-1. Both bullpens have been active. Milwaukee getting Chuck Krim and Mark Lee up to throw. Souvenir. 1-2 on Palmeiro. Palmeiro and Sierra must deliver offensively for this Texas Ranger ball club if they are to have a successful season. So they're counting on these 2 to deliver in the middle of that order. They've got to deliver some RBIs. And they hope to have Juan Gonzalez back. He'll be playing the outfield. Rookie for him, who is on the DL right now, but will only be out for probably another week. Gonzalez was having an outstanding spring before he got injured, so they get him back. They hope that will add some offense in that lineup. Where he will bat in that lineup is not clear right now.
Everyone that I talked to said that that guy is going to be a great player. That's the Milwaukee bullpen, Mark Lee and Chuck Krim. But Gonzalez, I mean, he has unlimited ability.
He would have started in left field
today.
If he had not been injured. So unfortunately, we do not get to see him here tonight. He's just 21 years old. Played 25 games last season with Texas and hit .289.
So he's not really a rookie.
He's got some experience. The numbers that impressed them at Oklahoma AAA ball, he had 29 home runs and 101 RBIs. So those
are nice numbers.
Yeah. You see the DL situation. Brian Downing is still a free agent. They haven't signed him yet, so they don't have to put him anywhere, but he's going to continue to work out with the team. Palmeiro to center field. Robin Yount on a liner. Those are tough in the lights. He got it. And there's one away. Let's check in with John Saunders. John?
We told you Dennis Martinez of the Expos had a no-hitter into the 7th inning facing Barry Bonds. He takes care of that by slicing this one out to left field. The no-hitter is gone, but Dennis Martinez and the Expos are cruising 7-0 in the 7th inning. Back to Gary and Joe.
So it takes care of that one.
Yeah, I would think it'd be awfully tough to pitch a no-hitter against Pittsburgh. Because they have such a variety of hitters over there. They have some free swingers. They have some guys like Barry Bonds who waits on his pitch, and they have a lot of guys who can run. And so it's tough to pitch a no-hitter against a team like that, especially on the AstroTurf.
Ruben Sierra scored in the 2nd inning on the 2-run homer by Kevin Reimer. Knudson goes up high, and Sierra goes after it, 0-2.
And that's where you want to pitch Sierra. You don't want to get the ball down. Knudson barely got away last time with a pitch down because it moved away from him. This is a high fastball, and you see that he just swings right under it.
Sierra's got to protect the plate. Down on the count here. Not to worry about that one. Delighted to have you with us here at Arlington, Texas. 40,560 on hand. They've got a full house sellout crowd early on. Milwaukee Brewers, though, have damaged the night thus far as they are leading Texas 5-2 with Nolan Ryan and Mark Knudson, the two starters, still on. A couple of long balls in this game. Reimer, we mentioned, for Texas, accounting for their 2 runs. Robin Yount got a 2-run homer in the 5th inning off Ryan. The other RBIs in the 1st. Sheffield and Stubbs on doubles, and Paul Molitor got an RBI single in the 2nd, accounting for the Brewers 5. Knudson, 2-2.
Would you believe this pitching philosophy that I've developed? Just think about this. If you're a fastball pitcher, throw the ball down the middle. The high ball hitters will swing over it. The low ball hitters will swing under it. What do you think?
I like it.
All right.
Makes sense. On a coach. Right field. That's deep. He thinks he's got one. Back of the wall. Goodbye. Home run.
Well, Ruben Sierra just missed the home run last time up because the fastball moved away and hit him out toward the end of the bat. He does not miss one here. Watch how his left foot really comes up, similar to Mel Ott. This is what he used as a timing device. That's his right foot. See how he times the pitch with that, and then he drives through it. This is actually a high pitch, but it's an off-speed pitch. That's why he could hit it.
He knew that one was gone. He just owns Mark Knudson. He's had a double and a home run. It's his 3rd career home run off Knudson, and he has 4 hits, 2 homers, 2 doubles, and he knocks Knudson out of the box in this one. So he's gone, but Knudson will leave with a 5-3 lead. ESPN's Tuesday Night Baseball tomorrow night, 10:30. Ricky Henderson needs only 3 to get the all-time stolen base record. You'll have a chance to see it. Broken bat ground ball. That'll be played to first by Stubbs. And there's one away as we have a new pitcher for, or 2 down rather, and a new pitcher for the Brewers with Knudson out of there and Mark Lee in. Knudson went 5 1/3, 3 runs on 5 hits. No walks and 3 strikeouts.
For the Rangers, number 5, Mike Stanley. Pinch hitting
with
for
the new pitcher
Gino
on, Mike
Petrali.
Stanley will pinch hit for Gino Petrali as Petrali take the 0 for 2 back in his first performance, and there is Stanley.
He and Petrali will be platoon, and when you look at their numbers, you see why they're both platoon. I mean, pretty good situation for. There's a pitcher of Knudson. Actually pitched a very good ball game so far. Well, he gave up the 3 runs, so that's fine pitching tonight.
Yeah, he did a good job. Nolan Ryan, who's 1 run closer than he was when it started on Sierra's 115th career home run. For Mark Lee, the left-hander, he is 26 years old. Lee last season worked with Milwaukee for only 11 games. He was AA, AAA, and then at the major league level. Stanley faces him, takes it down low for a ball. At the major league level last year, Lee ended up with a 1-0 record in 11 games, all in relief. Pitched 21 innings, had a 2.11 earned run average. Fly ball to shallow right center field. Everybody, Gantner, second baseman, backing up, and that will do it. So Texas ends up with a run on a hit, their second home run. Reimer had the other. Sierra gets this one. Nobody left on base. Jim Gantner leading it off against Nolan Ryan, who has struck out 8 and walked 2. Gantner, a strikeout victim twice. 6 complete. Stanley stays in for Petrali behind the plate. No play. There's Mike Stanley.
Gary, we talked about Milwaukee at the beginning, and so far, Robin Yount, Molitor have done the things that they do best, and that's hit the baseball. But I still think they're going to be very vulnerable over the course of a season to right-handed pitching. If you look at the middle of their lineup, you know, you have Yount, Molitor, Sheffield. You got Franklin Stubbs in there, but you have Candy Maldonado, Bichette. They're going to miss the big bat of Dave Parker, a left-handed hitter in the middle of that lineup. And I think over the course of a season, you face the tough right-handers that they will have to face, and I think that will catch up with you. I really think they need another strong left-handed hitter somewhere in that lineup.
Joe, you look at his numbers. He had Parker was 289, 21 homers, and 92 RBIs.
Yes.
So you got a lot to fill in for there.
Yes.
On a team last season that hit just 256 and finished up 11th in the league in offense. See, Ryan's hit the century mark there and gone over it by 1. Not uncommon for Nolan Ryan. The 1-2. And there's number 9.
And he struck out Gantner for the 3rd straight time. That's very unusual. Gantner is usually a guy that makes contact. In fact, Gantner has been one of the toughest people to strike out in the American League for the last few years. But that 93-mile-an-hour fastball, no chance. You can see the expression on his face, and there comes the grunt right there.
As we mentioned before, Joe, if you want to get to him, you better get to him early. Line drive, base hit into center field. Good hard shot. What's Spires? What's he doing in here? He's got a couple of hits, 2 runs scored, and a walk. John Saunders.
Astros and the Reds earlier today. Mike Scott in a tied game, but Tom Browning takes care of that as he sends this high pitch to the wall. 3-run score. 3 runs batted in. He had 4 all of last year, but more important to Cincinnati, he was the winning pitcher as well as they get off on the right foot. Let's go back to Gary and Joe.
Well, they still haven't been taken out of first place.
I say they've been in there so long, it's unbelievable. Huh?
162 plus.
There are a lot of people who have picked the Reds to finish 3rd in that division. I don't know what kind of calculators they're using over there.
It's going to be a great division.
Yes, it will be.
Great matchups here. Spires on at first base. Here's Paul Molitor. Molitor started it out right. RBI, stolen base also included in the night's work. 8 hits off Nolan Ryan in the game now. This is it inside. The bullpen of the Rangers has been up 3 times now. This is the 2nd time for Arnsberg. And he looks like he's getting ready for real.
Yeah, I think he's ready, and I think Nolan Ryan is not going to be around much longer. This is his first start of the season, and you're in the 7th inning. He's thrown over 100 pitches. So it's about time for them to start thinking about taking him out of the ball.
Blasted to right field down the line. Sierra going back has room near the warning track. 2 down. We mentioned how Nolan Ryan comes along in a game. First time through the order, they hit 217 against him. The second time they hit only 160, and as it gets later, it gets even lower in tough situations late in the game. There's that velocity index on Nolan Ryan. The high and average for him in each of the innings. Not much of a variation.
No. And it's probably, when you're looking at a statistic like that, when it's all very close as a runner goes, no, he stops.
Well, it's a hit and run that works.
Yeah, it was.
Robin Yount delivers a base hit to right field. Spires took off, stopped. Franco started to second base and stopped, and the ball went right where Franco had been. And Robin Yount's got a couple of hits and 4 at-bats.
Well, it is a hit and run that the Brewers do not execute properly, but there you see him stopping at first base, but Franco did take the bait, so that he moved a few steps towards second base, and Robin Yount hit it in the hole.
Maybe that's a new way for the hit and run.
Right. That way you don't risk the runner.
That's right. And once
Can't
you
get him
start,
thrown out.
the infielder starts to move over. Perfectly works.
But that's a little bit of an inexperience there from Franco, because, you know, he was a shortstop most of his career. You do not break when the runner breaks on the first step. And Nolan Ryan says he still has not had enough.
He's still throwing 93 miles an hour. Bobby Valentine's visit. He's going to set the bullpen down. 2 down. Runners at first and second. Sheffield's got a chance to do some real damage here in this top half of the 7th inning, with the Brewers leading 5-3. They now have 9 hits off Nolan Ryan. And as we said earlier, this is a tough clutch hitter with a double, a single, and an RBI tonight.
And he's had real good swings at Nolan. I think that's what you look for in a hitter. If a hitter's getting good swings, even if he's not producing, you know he will before the evening's over.
So I don't remember Sheffield with as much exaggeration on this cut. He is wrapping that bat around the front of his head.
Well, and that's one of the things that I do not like for a hitter to do, because it causes a lot of movement for the bat. You've got to take the bat from that position back to straight up and then get it through the hitting zone.
And he's just swinging from the heels. He's just power swinging.
See where he's got the bat wrapped? The head of the bat is pointing toward Nolan right there. Now he has to straighten it up and then start it forward. But he's doing a pretty good job with it tonight. But that's the one reason I do not like for a hitter to wrap his bat, because it takes you a longer time to get it into the hitting zone. But if you start it soon enough, you can get the job done.
He only struck out 41 times last year. He's not going to strike out this time on the bloop to left field. Gardy coming in. He's got it. That'll retire the side. 7th inning stretch time from Arlington, Texas, as Nolan Ryan heads off. Milwaukee leading his Rangers by.
ESPN Major League Baseball is brought to you by Dodge, Chrysler, Plymouth, Jeep, and Eagle dealers, where you get the golden advantage. By Vermont American, the power in power tool accessories. And by Bud Dry. Why ask why? Try Bud Dry for refreshment that's beyond question.
Taking a look at Reunion Tower up there with all the lights on. One of the landmarks that was built here as part of a development downtown. They've done a great job in Dallas in the older section of the city. Very nice place during the summer to wander and eat and walk and enjoy the beverages. Very nice area of town. I've never been there myself. Lee delivers, and it's struck. What are you looking at me like that for?
I give a 5-minute dissertation on the values of the area, and you tell me you haven't been there.
Well, I walked around there.
Oh, okay.
Various beverage places. I just observed.
Oh, okay.
Down low to Michelle, who doubled in the 4th inning. Swanee's been there, though. This guy on my left here with all these stats. I think he'll be there tonight. 1-1. Fouled off. Michelle, Yosin, and Pettis, bottom third of the order for Texas, against Mark Lee on in relief. Knudson, the pitcher of record, gave up a couple of home runs, but left with a 5-3 lead. There's Diaz, who's come out to pinch hit. I didn't mention some of the roster moves that Texas made to get to 25. They were interesting, to say the least. He was one of them. Diaz, veteran infielder from Oklahoma City, their AAA, who they picked up, signed. And a good overhand drop ball right there.
Overhand drop, huh?
What was that?
It was a good straight overhand fastball. Went down and in on the right-handed hitter.
Gotta like that one.
Yeah, watch this. There's a old drop they call it.
Rangers, number 6, Mario Diaz.
Roll it right off the end of your fingers.
Yeah. Tough pitch.
First strikeout for Lee. Jeff Houston being pinch hit for here with Diaz up. Valentine making some moves here. Trying to get the offense going against the left-hander. And is taken for a strike. How about these people the Rangers signed last night? Denny Walling signed to a 1-year contract, a veteran. Goose Gossage is back. They signed him to a 1-year contract. John Russell used to catch with Philadelphia. He's back. Mike Stanley, the veteran who we've seen in this game, he's back. and Diaz is back.
So it's not a young ball club anymore, is what you're telling me.
It is not a young ball club. Center field, Yelp. And there are 2 down. John Saunders.
Cecil Fielder with 51 home runs last year. Not a homer this time, but with 2 runners aboard in a 4-4 game with the Yankees, he still yanks it down the line. Rolls to the wall, drives in 2 runs. Cecil Fielder with 2 runs batted in, and the Tigers with a 6-4 victory. Alan Trammell driving in 4 today. Back to Gary and Joe.
Great old Tiger Stadium is going to see some rocking and rolling. There may be games where there are 20 strikeouts. There are other games where there are going to be 5 3-run homers.
Tell you what, they better bring some oxygen masks there, because when those guys finish swinging, all the air will be out of there.
Here's the Goose. Gossage had a very good spring, threw hard, and he's back with the Texas Rangers to work out of the bullpen. Lee's delivery to Pettis is chopped towards the middle. That one over 2 gloves, 1 bag, and on about 8 hops. Gary Pettis gets his first hit of this 91 season. A bouncing single with 2 down here in the 7th inning. Now the potential tying run will come to the plate.
Gantner has the best shot at this, but even if he catches it, he would not be able to throw.
And Treblehorn is on his way to the mound after that single. He wants to get the left-hander out of there with Franco coming up to the plate. So Tom Treblehorn out. And Chuck Krim right there is on his way in from the bullpen. So we'll see the 3rd pitcher for Milwaukee. Mark Lee is gone, and 29-year-old right-hander Chuck Krim is on in relief with a runner at first base, 2 down, and Franco, who's 0 for 3 and 2 for 15 lifetime against Krim. And he misses outside with it for a ball. Franco's still trying to get it started for this season. 2 ground ball outs in the pop-out. He's got the bat cocked up there too. Franco's got
right. Franco had hit over 300 for 3 straight years before last year, but 296 is nothing to be ashamed of.
Krim's a spot man. He didn't work more than an inning and 2/3 last season in his longest outing. They bring him in to get some big outs. One of them's at the plate. 2-run difference now. 5-3 Brewers. And he was going to tie it up right there.
Well, when you get a guy 2-0, try to hammer it, and on a 2-0 fastball, but it's off the plate outside, no chance for Franco to really do any damage with that pitch.
Lee worked an inning in the 3rd. 1 hit, 1 strikeout, responsible for the base runner on. Timeout taken. Ball gets away down in the bullpen. Base runner is Pettis, who delivered the single. Driving Lee out of there. You see what he's done in stealing bases.
I don't think he will go in this situation.
Just in case.
But Krim's not so sure.
Krim led the league in appearances for 2 seasons, 70 and 76, and then had 67 appearances last year. Well worked, but as we said, it is short relief. Durable arm. 39 saves in his career and a 25 and 26 lifetime major league record.
I think in situations like this, in the 7th inning, down 2 runs, you may let a base stealer run, but he usually has to have an excellent percentage, over 80%, before a manager will let him go in this situation.
Krim was on the mound last year. The opposition went 5 for 5 stealing bases.
They are aware of that.
Yes, so's Krim. There he goes. Up high. Throw down is high and into center field. That's going to be an extra base. Pettis on his way to 3rd. It'll be a stolen base and an error on Surhoff on the throw.
The reason they let him go in this situation is because, as you mentioned, Krim has not been able to hold guys on. It's a good pitch to throw on, actually, a high fastball, and Surhoff just comes up and throws it into center field. That, if you're a catcher, you want a high fastball to throw on. Pettis was there anyway. But he gets an extra base on the overthrow.
Krim's got his work cut out for him now. Franco's a 360 hitter from the 7th inning on, and the game is less than a 2-run differential. Clutch hitting towards the middle. Spires, he'll go to first, and Franco's not going to get it done. Runner left on at third. 7 complete from Arlington, Texas, where the Brewers are ahead.
A reminder, following the game, join us for Baseball Tonight, the studio show. Peter Gammons joins Gary Miller. They'll have all the day's highlights, including Roger Clemens with his victory over the Toronto Blue Jays. The umpires settled their disputes, so they're back in action. And Ricky Henderson, his opening day is tomorrow. We'll have that here on ESPN, and we'll talk about his situation, unhappy with the Oakland A's. But right now, let's get back to Texas Rangers trying to make their comeback against Milwaukee. Let's rejoin Gary and Joe.
Thank you, John. Brewers leading here by a score of 5-3, and Nolan Ryan is gone, and John Barfield is on.
Yeah, John Barfield, you see 33 games last year, 4-3-1 loss record. High earned run average of 4.67. You look at a guy's innings pitched and hits he gives up in that time, and you can really tell what his earned run average is going to be like.
Barfield is 26 years old. We'll have Mario Diaz working behind him at shortstop. He came on for Jeff Houston. Franklin Stubbs is leading it off for the Brewers here in the top of the 8th inning, batting cleanup. Doubled in a run in the 1st inning. Stubbs wants to take a look at Barfield. Barfield's pitched in only 35 Major League games. 4-4 record with 1 save. He's come up through the Texas organization. Pine Bluff, Arkansas. Fouled off on ball 1 strike. The numbers on Nolan Ryan. He worked 7 innings, 5 runs, 9 hits, walked 2, and struck out 9. Threw a total of 110 pitches, 70 strikes, and 40 out of the strike zone. So his strikeouts now 5,317 for Nolan Ryan. But he could lose his 273rd career game once Texas comes back.
And that's a really kind of a telling point, because you mentioned earlier, it says kind of a capsule of his career. Well, he pitches well, but he still ends up giving up too many runs on occasion. That's how he got the 272 losses.
Off his foot, wincing and moaning and grounding on a foul ball. That hurt. That one right off the shoe.
Here's the flip side of Nolan Ryan, some of the things that he's not so proud of. He's proud of the 5,000 strikeouts, 5,000 plus, but the 2,600 walks, that's all-time Major League record. Wild pitches and losses, he's 5th. I guess legendary Cy Young lost over 300, but he also won 511, so he can be excused.
Ryan with 302 wins in his career. Barfield's pitch, and again he jams Stubbs. He's trying to break some knuckles right now on Franklin Stubbs. Right in off the handle line.
Well, Franklin has always liked the ball out over the plate. Shows you what they think about Nolan Ryan here. Bush in 92 and Nolan Ryan in 96. And they've already named the expressway after him.
Ryan's talked about politics seriously. It's something he may do. Goose Gossage been throwing in the bullpen and is ready.
Have you ever noticed that relief pitchers, as they get older, they don't look quite so menacing? The Goose used to look real menacing out there on the mound. I think he's mellowed a little bit. What do you think?
I think that happens when you go through all those seasons.
Thank you.
17, 18 years for Goose Gossage in Major League Baseball.
The mustache doesn't look quite as intimidating.
Inside, you're a little softer. A kindler, gentler Goose Gossage. Grounded into right field for a base hit. Franklin Stubbs, 2 for 4. Double, single, and 2 strikeouts. And double digits for the Brewers now as they've picked up 10 hits. And Stubbs is going to come out for a pinch runner.
You know, a lot of people were saying that Stubbs would have a lot of problems with the breaking ball in the American League. I don't really think that's going to be his problem. The fastball inside's where he has the problem. You get a breaking ball out of the plate, he can still handle it as he did there.
See what's coming up on our baseball tonight on ESPN. Clemens and the Blue Jays. The Rockets back. Sammy Sosa and the White Sox picked up where they left off. And Ricky Henderson, an update as he goes for the record in stolen bases. All coming up. And that's going to be it for Barfield. He'll work to only one batter. Hamilton, Darrell Hamilton, is the pinch runner for Franklin Stubbs. And with Candy Maldonado due up, there's the Goose. We told you he'd signed on, and now he's on the mound. The Goose is now 39 years old, 18 years of Major League Baseball, and Candy Maldonado by a score of 5-3.
Well, Goose, as I mentioned, doesn't look quite as intimidating, but he still has a pretty good fastball, 90 miles an hour on that first pitch. He still has a slider, and he's still a little tough out of third base, so to speak. He comes around about third base.
Runner going, foul back, so they're still sending people.
Maybe it wasn't just because Nolan Ryan was out there. Maybe they wanted to. They've decided that they are going to steal a lot of bases in this ball game. They led the American League in stolen bases last year, so it's not unusual for them to run.
Waiting for the runner to get back to first base. Maldonado drew a walk, was on the front end of double play his last time up. Close play at first base. Larry McCoy there to make the call on Darrell Hamilton. He can fly. He's fast. Pinch runner.
Leaves. He's back in plenty of time.
Hamilton, 10 stolen bases last season, appeared in only 89 games. 0-2. He's got a pretty good walking lead.
Goose Gossage started with the White Sox. When I saw him with the White Sox, he was awesome. Played with Pittsburgh, played in the National League a while. Yankees.
This is his 854th appearance in the major leagues for Gossage. It's the outside corner strike. Good movement, huh?
It's a good hard slider he threw to Maldonado. Watch, this ball starts on the outside corner and then dips down on the outside corner. Good pitch.
That's one away. Barfield worked only one batter. That's Hamilton, who's on at first after Stubbs had the single. Hamilton, the pinch runner, one away. Now Dante Bichette is up. So Gossage gets his first strikeout since 1989, since he was in Japan for all the numbers. Among the save leaders, second in Major League history with 307. Fourth in relief wins, 11th with the 854 appearances. He leads all active pitchers in all those categories, and he's putting a pretty good move on at first base.
The closer the play gets, the more emphatic Larry McCoy with his call. Watch his hand get back in plenty of time. It's just not as close as it looks.
Stanley has gone out to the mound. One matter you might keep in mind is that last season, when Stanley was behind the plate, base stealers were successful 70% of the time, which was the second most successful rate in the league. So Stanley had trouble throwing people out. He's behind the plate right now. Hamilton at first, edging it off. Gossage stepping him back. Second time out for Troublehorn. Andy Etchebarren, the base coach, reaching in. Larry McCoy saying he touched him on the cheek.
Well, Andy Etchebarren is saying he was on the bag when he tagged him. And Larry McCoy says he tagged him on the face and he was out. Gossage with a good move. Here's the runner coming back. Can't see if his hand is on the bag already. We're not going to be able to see from here either whether he tags him before or not. But Hamilton thinks he was safe.
He was walking it off, stepping off that lead Maury Wills style, and Gossage got him about the 4th time over. Oops. Gossage with some heat right there, and Bichette 2 down now with the bases empty. I thought that was Steve Lyons over there undressing in the dugout again. Remember last year, Lyons in the bag, had dirt in his pants, just kind of forgot where he was, unbuttoned his pants, pulled him down to shake the dirt out, and got caught on camera. Well, we just got Darrell Hamilton.
Well, we mentioned how intimidating Goose Gossage can be as he starts it up and in, seems to chase you. That was 92 miles an hour. That's something to chase you with. Slider away.
Did he go? Yes, he did. Larry McCoy, first base umpire, helping out with a call. 1-2.
Nothing like a 92 mile an hour inside under your chin and then a hard slider away.
I don't think the Goose has been cooked yet.
Yeah, no.
He's back. Got him swinging, and he's brought the crowd to their feet. It was supposed to be Nolan Ryan at this point getting the Caduceus. Instead, it's the Goose. This opening night in Arlington, Texas, our storyline, the Rangers and the Brewers. Knudson, the starter, could still win it after his 5 1/3 innings. A good performance. Nolan Ryan touched up for the 9 hits in 7 innings, and you see the 5 earned runs. Spires had a 2 for 2. Yout has had a 2-run homer that came in the 5th inning. We've had another home run by Ruben Sierra in this game. And we've got a change at first as Greg Brock has come on to play for Stubbs, who was pinch hit for. So Greg Brock will be at first base, and the Brewers, as we go to the bottom half of the 8th inning, have gotten into the pen where they like to be. And Plesac is now on the mound.
For the Rangers, number 18, Tony Scruggs.
And Plesac has a lot to prove this year. He's had some great years. In fact, a couple of years ago, he was the premier reliever in the American League. But last year he just had a very tough season. Never got started. Never could get started.
Dan Plesac is new, and so is Scruggs. Tony Scruggs is the pinch hitter, and he takes the pitch for the strike. He is on pinch hitting for Doherty, who ended up going 0 for 3. Did reach once on an error. Swings through the fastball from Dan Plesac. 0-2.
A lot of people are wondering whether Plesac will be able to return to his form of a couple of years ago. There you see the numbers. And watching him from here, he doesn't seem to have the same pop on his fastball that he had before. I know he had some injury problems last year, and he said he pitched at about 80%. But he doesn't seem to have the same pop on that fastball, which takes a little bit of the pop off the slider as well.
The Brewers really need him
definitely
in that bullpen. The injuries they've already had on their staff, with Higuera out of there and Bosio and Robinson not getting complete springs in because of injuries. They're not going to get a lot of complete games, at least for the first half of the season in all likelihood. Scruggs waiting and fouls that one back off Plesac.
In most cases, a reliever, if he doesn't start off well, that sets the tone for his season. So you try to get him off to a good start. Here's Plesac's motion. Kind of a stylish kind of left-hander. Doesn't really hide the ball. Nothing herky-jerky. Just kind of a smooth left-hander.
Scruggs bloops that one towards center field. Yout has plenty of time to get underneath it, and there's the first out in this bottom half of the 8th inning. Scruggs out of there, 1 down. Mom and Dad, we hope you're well. And they didn't even ask you to send cash. Can't hardly beat that. Baseball tonight. Coming up next, bring you up to date on all the day's activities in this first day of Major League Baseball. And an hour-long edition of Sports Center is also coming up. Lots of hockey playoff action. The National Hockey League first round Stanley Cup action continuing tonight. We'll have details on that as well as the NBA as it gets set for the playoffs. And it's an hour-long edition here on ESPN. All coming up after our ball game here from Arlington, Texas. Palmeiro. Right field. He got a lot of it. Way back at the wall. Looking up. Goodbye. Home run.
Palmeiro hit so well against left-handers last year, it's unbelievable. I mean, he hit .339 against left-handed pitchers. This is a high fastball out over the plate, and he gets all of it. And you look at the face of Plesac, he knows it's gone right away. And so does Palmeiro, so does everyone in the ballpark. High fastball, and he put a charge into it.
Sierra had a home run his last time up. Joe, how about this? Ruben Sierra last season, a lifetime, was 1 for 15 against Dan Plesac. Plesac last year did not give up a home run to a left-hander. Left-handers hit only 161 against him last year. All that together means there's no way Sierra gets anything off Dan Plesac.
Well, I think Plesac has to keep away from his power. He's a high fastball hitter from the right side and a low fastball hitter from the left side. And he is staying away.
And that's going to bring B.J. Surhoff out. There is Rafael Palmeiro. He's had 2 hits, a single and a home run, going 2 for 4 in this ball game. And has cut the Brewers' lead to 1. Brewers have led throughout. Edwin Nunez just getting up the throw, and I think Surhoff's out to give him a little more time. Last time up.
Sierra takes a high fastball and drives it way out to right field. Right there, he knows it's a home run. It's always great to watch the reactions of the hitters nowadays.
Outside corner strike. You didn't react when you played, did you?
Well, you weren't supposed to. The pitchers didn't like that.
Because they throw it.
They didn't allow you to do that.
7 hits for the Rangers now. 10 for the Brewers. 5-4 Brewer lead. 8th inning, 1 down, nobody on. Sierra strikes it again.
I tell you, he hits the ball hard.
Is he swinging well in this opener? He is almost up there with a cycle. He's got a double, a home run, and a single in 4 at-bats. So now he's 1 for 1 on the season and 2 for 16 lifetime against Dan Plesac.
That's a high fastball, a little above the belt, and I mean, he hits it hard. He bails a little bit. Watch his front foot, how it steps way out. See, he's stepping way down the third baseline, but he keeps the barrel of the bat over the plate. Keeps his shoulders in for a little longer than you'd think when you pull out like that. Normally when you step in the bucket, as they call it, your shoulders go with you. He stays in quite well.
Reimer, a home run in the 2nd inning. Plesac's got to be wondering. He didn't give up a home run to a left-hander. He gave one up to Palmeiro. He always gets Sierra. Sierra rips one up the middle off him.
When you look at Plesac, he doesn't have the look of a man with a lot of confidence on the mound right about now.
He needs a good early season, doesn't he,
Yes, he does. I think relief pitchers are like that, though. Their confidence can be shattered very easily because they're always in a tough position where they can win or lose a ball game. High fastball. Reimer cannot check his swing.
1-1 the count. Reimer went 0 for 5 against left-handers last season, so he's battling that pitcher's advantage again right here with the left-hander Plesac on the mound. The 1-1 is wrapped towards short. There's one, and they get the double play. 6-4-3 Spires to Gantner to Brock, and that's what they needed, a run on 2 hits. Nobody left on base, and it's 5-4 Brewers. John Saunders.
All right, guys, we'll get back to you momentarily. We want to remind you that baseball tonight comes your way following the game. Gary Miller and Peter Gammons will be along with all the scores and highlights. But right now, let's take a look at the scoreboard. We'll start things off in the American League. Or to start the day, the Detroit Tigers got the win over the New York Yankees. 6-4 was the final there. Alan Trammell with 4 runs batted in. Cecil Fielder with a double, breaking up the tie in that one. Boston beats the Toronto Blue Jays in Toronto. Roger Clemens, 8 innings, 6 hits, 1 run. No walks, 6 strikeouts. Jack Clark with a grand slam off Dave Steve, only the second he's ever given up. The White Sox at Baltimore win it 9-1. Sammy Sosa, 2 home runs, 5 runs batted in. That's the most he's ever had in his career. The Cleveland Indians lose at Kansas City as Kirk Gibson starts off his re-entry into the American League with a triple in his first at bat as a Royal and finished 2 for 4, scored a run and drove 1 in as well. Let's move to the National League now. The Mets with the win over the Phillies. Dwight Gooden with the victory there. Vince Coleman went 2 for 4 in his debut with the Mets. Tom Browning, what a day for Cincinnati. The winning pitcher drives in 3 runs with a double. Had only 4 RBI all of last year, and the Reds win for the 9th straight time in an opener. And Montreal all over Pittsburgh, the defending champions in the National League East. Dennis Martinez with some relief hap, only giving up 1 hit in the game. Ivan Calderon driving in runs with a home run. Right now, let's go back to Gary and Joe.
Thanks, John. This will be the 4th Texas pitcher. Mike Jeffcoat has come on in relief of Gossage, who worked a strong inning with a couple of strikeouts. Threw 7 pitches, 6 strikes, 6 throws to first base. Got a pickoff. Welcome back, Goose.
Yeah. The Rangers had a rally going after the home run by Palmeiro. They had a runner at first, but a 6-4-3. Pitcher's best friend. Gantner turning it over at second base. Very easy double play. 6-4-3.
Now pitching for the Rangers, number 30.
There's Jeffcoat last season, 4.47 earned run average. Gave up 122 hits in 110 innings. That'll tell you a lot.
And the left-hander on, and he's got a new left fielder behind him. Tony Scruggs stays in the game. He was a pinch hitter for Doherty, who had been out there. 5-4 ball game. Milwaukee would like to try and get a couple back. Mark Knudson, the starter, still the pitcher of record. Surhoff, Gantner, and Spires are due up against Jeffcoat. Jeffcoat's a 5-year veteran who has paid the price. Bloop to right field. Sierra. Surhoff's retired. This copywritten telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball. And a couple of hot dogs to Joe Morgan. Jeffcoat was with Cleveland up and down, then San Francisco up and down, then Texas up and down. Career goes back to 1980. 175 Major League games, and a few more than that in the minor leagues.
Well, if anyone's glad to see Nolan Ryan leave, it's Jim Gantner. He struck out 3 times in tonight's ball game.
Ryan had 9. Gantner to left field. Scruggs perfectly positioned. He was playing in and over towards the line. 2 down in the top of the 9th inning for Mike Jeffcoat. Coming up next here on ESPN after our ball game, baseball tonight. Roger Clemens, the Rocket, got 1 today. Sammy Sosa got more than 1, and Ricky Henderson is after that stolen base mark. The umpires are back too. All that coming up with Gary Miller, Peter Gammons. Baseball Tonight studios. You'll see that right after our ball game from Arlington. Jeffcoat has 2 down, nobody on, and here's Spires, the shortstop. Very good night for this number 9 hitter. 2 singles, 2 runs scored, a walk, and a stolen base. It's pretty much perfect. Side for a ball. You're looking ahead. Rangers in the bottom of the 9th. We'll have Stanley, Buechele, and Diaz due up. 6, 7, and 8. 2-0 count. And he misses with it. 3 balls and no strikes. So Jeffcoat behind.
That's unusual. That's an unusual pitch there. It was 2-0, and he looked like he threw him a little slider. And you have Molitor and Yount coming up next. You would think you'd want the left-hander to swing the bat, even 2-0.
Especially since Molitor and Yount are both having good opening nights.
But then again, if he walks Spires, he may not get the pitch to Molitor or Yount.
That's right. We got Nunez ready to go. That brings it full, 3-2. Nolan Ryan, 7 innings, 5 runs, 9 hits. Barfield, no part of an inning, 1 hit. Gossage, 1 inning, 2 strikeouts. And now Jeffco. Knudson on the mound for the Brewers, 5 1/3, 3 runs, 5 hits. Lee won an inning and a third, 1 hit, a strikeout. Krim, a third of an inning, 0s across. Now Plesac is on. That one blooped on the 3-2 to right. Sierra gets there in time. 3 fly ball outs in the 9th inning. And the Rangers will be coming up in the bottom half. They are down 5-4. We'll see if they throw in any pinch hitters with Stanley, Buechele, and Diaz up.
Gary Miller and Peter Gammons following the next half inning with a full edition of baseball tonight. They'll have all the scores and highlights, so keep it right here. We want to remind you, stay with us tomorrow night as well as we see a chase for the record. Ricky Henderson needing just 3 steals to pass Lou Brock as the all-time stolen base leader. That at 10:30 Eastern time, the second half of our doubleheader. Right now, let's get back to Texas and Gary and Joe.
Edwin Nunez is going to try and wrap this ball game up for the Brewers against the Texas Rangers. Plesac worked an inning, gave up a run on a couple of hits. Joe, here's another guy who's bounced around. Edwin Nunez.
Good record last year, 2.24 earned run average, 42 ball games, 65 hits. Base on balls to strikeouts ratio not too good. You should have 2 strikeouts for every base on balls. At least that's what most pitching coaches would like for you to have. At least that or better.
Nunez, the right-hander, 27 years old, came up in the Seattle organization, pitched with the New York Mets part of a season, then went over to Detroit for the last 2 years. He throws hard. Mike Stanley will take him on. Bottom of the 9th. And they are guarding the lines at first and at third. Nunez is 22 and 26 major league career with 42 saves. He's got a save chance right here. Great to have you with us. Arlington, Texas, 40,500 plus. They've seen a good one. Milwaukee leading at 5-4. Nolan Ryan, the pitcher of record, could lose it. Mark Knudson, the starter, pitcher of record, could win it. In the dirt by Nunez.
Nunez throws a good split finger, and that was it there. A lot of people call it split finger. A lot of people call them fork balls, but they all get the job done. It's a tough pitch to handle.
It's the one that'll bite the dust as that last one did every once in a while. It's moving around. Stanley came on to Petrali and popped out his only at bat. Now the Rangers last season had the best percentage wins in 1-run games in the American League. They won 37 1-run ball games and lost 22. Got a 1-run ball game here, but they're on the other side of it.
Well, usually that's a bad omen, because if you do that one year, next year it's usually just the opposite. So
it is one of the truest statistics in Major League Baseball. If you have a good season in winning 1-run games, the next year you will not.
The law of averages. Actually, our great statistician over here tells us that you usually will come up with 8 more losses the next year.
Down to third, Sheffield. Oh, bobbled at first base. Greg Brock could not pick it.
Well, Greg Brock will probably get the error, but Sheffield just takes too long to release the ball. Well, they're giving the error to the third baseman, and that's rightfully so. See, he just takes too long to throw the ball, and then he bounces it. Although the ball is close enough that I think Brock should have come up with it. See, that's not a long, if he stretches out, he comes up with it. But Sheffield just takes too long. Even though he has such a strong arm, you still need to get a little better rhythm. on your throws rather than just taking your time and then trying to fire it across the diamond.
Chad Kruder, the third catcher being carried by the Rangers, is running at first base now, so they've used all three: Petrali, Stanley, and Kruder. He represents the potential tying run. Buechele had his double in the 4th inning.
Last year, Sheffield committed 25 errors, so it's not unusual for him to make mistakes.
Trying to move it up, he bunts it foul. They say, Joe, that he sometimes has that lazy arm.
Well, that's what I see, but a lazy arm comes from taking your time and then trying to rush. You catch the ball in the flow, get your rhythm, and throw the ball across the diamond.
Buechele, a good bunter, had 7 sacrifices last season. Tried to lay one down against Nunez. They think he's going to do it again. Sheffield is moving in at third. Brock holding the bag and charging at first. He tries. Did he go after it? No. 1-1. Toby Harrah, the third base coach, getting the signs from Valentine, relaying them. Denny Walling, the veteran, has come out on deck. I mentioned that he was one of the late signings. Nunez with a 1-1. 2 balls, 1 strike. 5-4 game. Milwaukee on top. It's the bottom of the 9th and nobody out, with a potential tying run at first. Lots of wheels churning here in Arlington. There's Denny Walling. They're charging again. Buechele takes it. 3-1.
They say bunting is a lost art, but in this case, Nunez is not giving him a chance to prove it.
Can't walk him in this situation. You just can't.
If they're going to give you an out, you take the out. And you make sure you take the out.
3-1 count. They're still looking for the bunt. He squares. He drops it. Good one. Brock will tag the runner going by, but it's a sacrifice. So Kruder moves down to second base. 3 unassisted on the putout. 1 away.
He does a good job of getting the ball down. Buechele bunts it where you're supposed to, and that's to the first baseman. Make him field it. Brock fields it and tags him as he goes by.
Your attention, please.
Now the pinch hitter, Denny Walling, coming up. The late acquisition to make it into the press sky. 35-year-old veteran who's been around with Houston and St. Louis, a lifetime .246 hitter. He batted .239, 5 RBIs as a pinch hitter last season with the Cardinals. Pinch hitting right here.
And Denny Walling's a good fastball hitter. He likes the ball out over the plate. And he'll hit the ball all over.
He was invited to spring training by Boston as a non-roster free agent. Hit only .150. Went 0 for 8 as a pinch hitter. And then lo and behold, along came the Texas Rangers and picked him up.
Denny has been a good pinch hitter, a good hitter all his career. He hasn't played regularly on, for many ball clubs. That's why he doesn't have a real high batting average.
Nunez gets the strike. 1 and 2. 1 out.
Most of the time he's been a pinch hitter, and pinch hitting is a very tough job to do. Very few people have been able to do it and do it well. You sit on the bench for 8 innings, and then you walk up there in a game-tying situation. Not very easy to do.
And he didn't. Nunez.
Good split finger there.
And there are 2 down, and the Rangers are down to their final out.
After throwing a good fastball on the outside corner, he starts this one the same way. That looks like a fastball, and all of a sudden the bottom falls out, and Walling can't hold up.
Nunez trying for the save, and Pettis, the number 9 hitter, at a single in the 7th inning. Runner at second represents the potential tying run here. Pettis has gone 2 for 3 against Nunez in his career. That's all he's faced him. The dugouts are up, both of them. And Brewers bullpen is up and watching. Right up on that front step. Brewers are 11-10 in opening day games coming into this one. Texas 11-8. 1 ball, 1 strike on Pettis. You see Pettis not pick up a lot of RBIs at the end of the season last year. Better at the front part of it. Nunez with a 1-1. 1 and 2. Late inning pressure situations where games were on the line last year and runners were on base. Pettis hit just 125. This is a rather big outing for Nunez too. He's looking for a spot here with the Brewers. Pettis swings and misses. Nunez gets the save. The Brewers get the win. Mark Knudson is the winning pitcher. 1-0. Nunez gets the save. And our final score, the Brewers have defeated the Rangers 5-4. Tomorrow night, 10:30, it'll be the Twins taking on the A's. Kirby Puckett and Ricky Henderson going after the stolen base record. Baseball tonight with Gary Miller, Peter Gammons.